Town Hall. I'm John Scott. Today in Utah, lawyers for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk plan to call a final witness as they try to raise doubts about the prosecution's case. A judge is deciding whether prosecutors have enough evidence to put Tyler Robinson on trial on a charge of aggravated murder. Kirk was killed as he spoke to a crowd at Utah Valley University on September 10th. Robinson is charged with aggravated murder and has still not entered a plea. Democrats in Maine beginning to sprint to nominate a new candidate for a pivotal Senate seat. The drive began after Graham Platner announced he's withdrawing from that race after a sexual assault allegation. Democrats need to pick a candidate to replace Platner on the ballot by July 27th, less than 4 months before the nominee will face longtime Republican Senator Susan Collins in a race Democrats need to win to take back the chamber. A U.S. airport has been renamed today after the president. Correspondent Laura Winters.
PBI, Palm Beach International, now DJT, Donald J. Trump International. Son Eric Trump posting the audio from the control tower on his social media pages as he and family members arrive at 5 a.m. for the first flight landing there under the new name.
Attention all aircraft, effective immediately. Palm Beach International Airport is officially President Donald J. Trump International Airport.
The new signs around the airport are up and the name change in effect on the airline websites that operate out of Palm Beach, Florida. Laura Winters reporting.
A major legal battle in Washington continues.
Olympic canoeist David Hurd has pleaded not guilty to a felony charge connected to damage at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. Prosecutors say Hurd helped damage the recently renovated landmark. If convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison. His next court appearance is scheduled for August. Willie Nelson, The White House.
More on these stories from
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Tensions rising over immigration between the U.S. and Mexico.
Mexico plans to request criminal charges over the deaths of 17 Mexicans in ICE custody or during immigration operations under the Trump administration.
Podemos ser omisos frente.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says we cannot turn a blind eye to the Mexicans who have died during ICE operations or who are or were detained in these detention centers, which are operated by private companies contracted by ICE. The request, which carries no legal weight, will be submitted to state prosecutors and the Justice Department. It will be accompanied by civil lawsuits against the companies that operate the detention centers. I'm Ed Donahue.
Meanwhile, U.S. officials say those being held by authorities there for a reason. Primarily, they had entered the United States illegally, and many had then broken various laws. News and analysis at townhall.com. Britain's potential next leader is canvassing members of Parliament for support. Karen Chamas reports it's a rather complicated process, but one candidate in particular appears to be well on his way.
Nominations are opening in a Labour Party election to replace Keir Starmer as Britain's Prime Minister. Former Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham is expected to be the sole candidate. He needs at least 80 signatures from Labour lawmakers to run, a target he's likely to exceed. Other potential contenders have ruled themselves out, including former Defence Minister Al Carnes. Speaking a week earlier in Manchester, Burnham promised sweeping changes on the domestic front.
I am going to break with the more of the same approach that has got us here. I am going to give Britain the circuit breaker it needs.
Karen Chamas, London.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
All right, folks, I need you to do something right now. Go to johnfredericksradio.com and take our brand new 2028 Republican presidential straw poll. Who do you want leading the ticket? Don't let the elites decide. Make your voice heard. While you're there, weigh in on two huge issues: eminent domain reform and President Trump's tariff policies. Are they protecting American workers or hurting growth? This is your movement, your vote, your voice, your choice. Go to johnfredericksradio.com right now and take the poll.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Satphone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Satphone. Satphones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Satphone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your Satphone. Call now.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Well, happy Friday, everybody. We made it. Hey, this is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at, among other things, weather and sports. We'll start, as we always do, with where I am in Richmond, Virginia. High today of 94. Going to see some spotty storms. A low this evening of 72. Apparently going to have a heavy thunderstorm by that point. Right now, the temperature in the River City, 71 degrees. Squirrels top the curve in Altoona yesterday, 5-3. The two teams will face off again beginning at 6 p.m. In the nation's capital, high today of 92, going to be very hot and humid. Possible storms, a low this evening, 71, still humid. In fact, I think you can pretty much just assume until you hear from me otherwise that It's going to be humid here on the East Coast. It's the summer, folks. Right now, the temperature is 72 degrees in Washington. The Nats welcome the Yanks to town for the weekend first pitch tonight, 6:45. In Atlanta, high of 92, a low tonight of 74 with evening showers. Right now, the temperature also 74 degrees. Braves win the series against the Pirates. Groovy. Next up for the Tomahawk Choppers, a trip to St. Louis. Nashville, you're looking at a high today of 86, possible showers. A low this evening of 70, still possible showers. Right now the temperature is 74 with some rain in Middle Tennessee. In Philadelphia, a high today of 91 with possible storms. A low this evening of 73, storms and spots. Right now the temperature is 72 degrees in the city of brotherly love. The Phils run up the score against the Reds yesterday, 1-0. Morgantown, a high today of 79, stormy. A low this evening, 69, still stormy. Right now the temperature in, by God, West Virginia, 72 degrees. And last but not least, my Yinzers in Pittsburgh. A high today of 82 with possible storms. A low this evening of 70, storms and spots. Right now the temperature in the 412, 73 degrees. I'm being handed breaking news. Breaking news, the Pirates still suck. Well, at least they have the Brewers coming to town this weekend. Great. Whew. 2 weeks to training camp, folks. 2 weeks. Come on, let's go. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins tomorrow morning, in fact, from 9 to 11, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. And now, for a few words to the wise. You know, the rule of law is a phrase that people tend to toss around as if it were a frisbee. But do most folks actually understand what the phrase means? My guess is that the average person would say that the rule of law calls for obedience to a society's defined and articulated public policies. Question, though. Would World War II-era Germans have been abiding by the rule of law by turning over Jews to the Nazis, in accordance with public policy? Or would subjects in the British colonies have been following the rule of law by selling people into slavery? If you're uncomfortable with answering these questions in the affirmative, good. Because public policies aren't consistent with the idea of the rule of law regardless of their substance. No, they have to be a specific brand of public policy. You see, the phrase the rule of law traces its origins back to ancient Greece, where and when what certain leaders suggested was that nomos, the Greek word for law, should rule over man instead of other men. Effectively, these leaders were championing individual rights long before we had a thorough understanding of what individual rights practically entail. And logically, to be compatible with the idea of the rule of law, a public policy needs to sanctify man's own personal latitude. Quite obviously, measures resulting in the persecution of Jews or ones ordaining slavery do not. Importantly, if people tend to equate and throw around any other term with the phrase the rule of law, that other term is democracy. We need to submit to the rule of law and democracy, I so frequently hear. Well, I mentioned that the Greek word for law was nomos. The Greek word for man, against which nomos was pitted, that would have been demos, the very root of the word democracy. How about that? I'll talk more about that woefully misunderstood, actually tyrannical style of government next week. But in the meantime, this has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
In a 53-47 tight Senate majority, with a couple who can occasionally go rogue, Republicans need every vote. Big question before the country on Wednesday? Where in the world is Mitch McConnell? Democrat Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear now wants the answer. Reportedly, he's in the hospital, has been for a while now, but Beshear wants proof of life. Okay, but their new law takes away his power to appoint a fill-in if their senator is unable to fulfill his or her duties, like by assuming room temperature or something.
So what?
Actually, he will have to set a special election date, though, which freaks out Republicans because he could wait a long time to do so, thus keeping the Republican Senate majority weakened until the position's filled. Presumably, they say it'll be a Republican who eventually gets elected, but the 84-year-old has been a senator since 1985, making him the oldest something or other to do something or other wherever it is that he does it. Well, the Ox was a high school senior that year, by the way, so thinking outside the box, on any given day, the Ox needs to get up, drink coffee, go to work, host a talk show, see some people about some junk, and to procure the daily needed food and sundries. It's never occurred to him that since high school graduation, he was also supposed to include on his daily to-do list worrying about where Mitch McConnell is at any given moment.
As I indicated, that thought had not occurred to me.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
Are we comfortable with the notion that the Ox speaks for the masses on this one? Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They got to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Fredericks Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the socials.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who loves the smell of napalm in the morning, John Fredericks.
TGIF, great to have you with us today. Oh, we're going to be rocking and rolling. What a great week we've had. Lots going on. Good to have you with us. A couple of changes I want to keep mentioning. Starting on August 17th, Wendy Bell is going to be moving live. Wendy Bell Live will be joining us on the network starting August 17th, 10 to noon a.m. Michael Patrick Leahy, who's in Nashville. Wendy's in Pittsburgh, of course. Leahy will be moving to 3 to 5 p.m. And then we're taking over a new station in Nashville. That deal should be done in the next couple of days. So We got to get a few more papers signed, and we're good to go. So we're excited about that. In Nashville, we'll be picking up the Titans and the Volunteers and all that good stuff. So great to have you with us, as always, right here on the John Fredericks Media Network. Open for your calls, always 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. And this is Friday, TGIF. Don't forget, my favorite show in the history of all shows, Godzilla Wins, is coming up on Saturday, 9 to 11. Also, I always forget to mention, Dan, and you got to remind me of this, the Killer Carl show is going to be on. I got to fix this camera here when I get a moment, but we'll try to deal with it in the meantime. Dan, let's go forward here. Killer Carl 8 to 9, Godzilla Wins 9 to 10. So that's going to be fun. That's always on Saturday. So lots going on. But I want to get your calls, 888-480. 888-480-5646. You know, Dan, when you get a second, we never played the clip from yesterday, which was President Trump at NATO 2 days ago, basically calling Iran scum. When you get that up and find it, I didn't put it in the first rundown. I think it was from yesterday. See if you can tell me in the little communique there. When we have it, we're good to go. 888-480-5646, 888-480-5646. Well, in the meantime, so here's the Iranian situation that I think is going to be critical for a lot of us to look at. What exactly went down here? Okay, what exactly is going on? Let me just, if I can, kind of give you the whole story. The hostilities in Iran. The bottom line here is there's no ceasefire. And what has happened is the oil company executives that were quick to raise prices when the conflict started, that we now know has gouged America, just gouged us to death, right? We all know that. What they're saying now is they understand that the straits are not going to be closed. This is a debate I had with Crilly 2 weeks ago. Like, it's not going to be closed. The straits will be open. And enough oil is getting through where it's not going to affect global oil prices. We have secured the southern route. So this idea of 1,000 ships bottled up and the Iranians throwing drones around, this is nonsense. Now, is it fully open? No. As long as they're, trying to shoot at ships, there's going to be an insurance issue, there's going to be a trepidation issue, and we're not going to get the consistent flow that we want. So you can't trust them. You can't do anything with them. So the president's view is, look, I've had enough. I've had enough. And the next step is we're going to take over the islands and own the strait, and that's going to be the end of it. Once you take the strait away from them, they have nothing. They have no army, they have no navy, they have no submarines, they have no affiliates, they have no satellites, they have nothing but a bunch of drones. All the leverage they have is in that strait. Take it, get it done. Meantime, what is happening is, despite the hostilities, the uptick in oil price in a barrel of oil was under $1. So it was marginal. Why? Because now the oil executives that gouged us at the beginning and were telling the president, whispering in his ear 24/7, we got to end this war, we got to end this war, we got to end this war. Now we're seeing a very different tune. Now what is happening, folks, and this is critical, is the top oil executives around the globe are saying, they're coming to the president's side here on Iran, and they're saying, we need to get a permanent solution so that we're not going through this whenever Iran decides to shoot drones off at our ships. So we're not going to do this. So now, where it was about 50-50, I'm talking about the senior oil company owners and top executives. It was about 50-50, get a settlement, get out, or just get rid of them. Now it's about 75-25 to get rid of their influence over the straits. And the way you do that is by taking these islands. And I think it's going to help them in the midterms. Everybody's got this wrong, except us. What people want is action. What they're not getting from the Republican Senate, what they're not getting from Republicans. They're not getting action, and they're not getting permanent solutions to their problems. And that is really what the issue is here. I believe that if the president ends this thing once and for all, and I'm not talking about troops in the ground in Iran and Tehran. I don't care about that. I've told you before. I don't care about what their government does. That's their business. Them and their people, they'll figure it out, not my affair. My affair is the Straits of Hormuz. This is international water. So you need to take the islands, take their oil, and be done with it. Cut them off. Take their oil, take the straits. They have no more leverage. The only leverage this country has over us is that waterway that they can harass ships on going through the Straits of Hormuz. That's it. They have no other leverage anywhere. And if we had the straits open and controlled it and then did the blockade on them, the country would starve in 6 weeks, as they were doing. That the only reason they signed the MOU was to get relief to sell some of their oil so they could survive. As soon as they did that, they went back to shooting at the ships. You can't work with these people. There's no peace treaty. There's no ceasefire. There's nothing. You've never been able to do this. So you take away their only point of leverage. They've got 1 point of leverage, just one. You take that away, it's over. And that's why you didn't get the uptick today in oil. Now, one executive said earlier, he said, in the course of the war with Iran, there were two main camps among the industry, one that favored a quick resolution of the conflict with guarantees that Iran would abandon nukes, and another that pushed for a more aggressive approach to cripple the regime and end the nonsense. Since the ceasefire was put into effect and not held, many in the industry who were among the first group have now come over to the second group. That's why the prices of oil haven't gone up. See, that nonsense is now behind you. Now, have they come down to the rate they should? No. But once you open these straits up and you end this thing and you take it over, this problem goes away for life. This is your opportunity to end this for life. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with this for the next 50 years. We do something they don't like, they shoot at ships. Because like Trump said, they're nuts. Go ahead, play the clip. This was on, what's today, Friday? This would have been Wednesday in NATO. Go ahead, play it.
We attacked very powerfully last night. The very dangerous people from Iran. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. We said, go and do your funeral stuff. And instead of that, they start shooting rockets at ships yesterday. And so we hit them very hard last night, very hard. I would say 20-1, 20 times tougher. And I told them every time you hit, we hit. And of course, they're dirty players, so they go after everyone, probably including me. I've been number one on their list for years. And they're a bunch of scum. You want to know that they're scum. And so we don't like them. I don't like them. And they're evil people, and it's the denuclearization of Iran. And we're going to denuke it. We're not going to let them because they're crazy, and they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they go around killing people. They've killed thousands and thousands of our soldiers. They've killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people. They had the roadside bomb, Soleimani. I took care of him, first term. And that was a big thing, because I think it probably would be a lot stronger had he been around, because he was a bad guy, but he was an evil genius, but a bad guy. And he was the father of the roadside bomb. The roadside bomb is a bomb that goes on when you're driving your little vehicle.
They're scum. And the Republicans in the House are wringing their hands and getting their panties in a wad and sweating like bullets over this war, because they're listening to their constituents who are saying right now they want out, Trump didn't promise a war, etc. Grow a pair. I'm asking my Republican colleagues, wringing their hands over this and wetting their diapers, put on your big boy pants. You have an opportunity to end this once and for all. Do you get that? Once and for all. End it. You can end it right now by going in and taking these islands. And yes, that might affect something. And yeah, people don't want to go to war. And yeah, we got the midterms coming up. But I believe that what our base is really starving for, more than just Trump said A and did B, is action. Action that gets a result. And taking these islands right now and getting a permanent solution to the Straits of Hormuz, which will solve this problem in perpetuity. I think the American people will reward President Trump and the Republican majorities and keep them in power. I really believe that. If you operate from fear, you lose. You cannot win operating on defense. You have to score points. You don't win without putting points on the scoreboard. 0 times 0 is 0. You have to be aggressive. In the Senate, in the House, I would love to see the president end this once and for all. I don't want to see any truth socials. I don't want to see any warnings. I just want to get up one day and say, we have taken the islands and wiped them out. The straits are controlled. The oil is going to flow back to America. We just took it. And let them deal with it. I think you'll be rewarded for that. Sometimes you just need to solve a problem. I believe in permanent solutions. This MOU is nonsense. I was for it until they broke it, and now I'm done. Everybody should be done with these people. John Fredericks Media Network, Truck the Truth across America. We'll be right back with your calls, 888-480-JOHN. Stay with us.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
John Fredericks, America's Godzilla of Truth. He knows state politics have impact everywhere, so now he goes national at 9, hitting all the hot spots that are about to blow. Monday, it's the Pennsylvania Posse. Tuesday, get the Texas Truth. Wednesday, the Peach Crew dishes Georgia. Thursday, it's the DC Dispatch. And Friday, the Virginia Gang is in the studio. Every day at 9, John lets the spotlight shine. It's local, it's national, it's everything. The John Fredericks Show, weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, right here.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Great to have you with me, TGIF. Phone lines open, 888-480-JOHN. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Always great to have you. Good to have Dan here. Dan, thanks for all you do. Another great week coming up here in the books. Tomorrow, Godzilla wins 9 a.m. Couple of things I want to mention. Don't forget, our show is podcasted. It's not a podcast, but it is podcasted. You can get all of that on all your favorite podcast channels after the show is over, but also you want to go to our YouTube channel. That's where everything is. Go to YouTube, just put in John Fredericks Media. All of our callers come up, our shows come up. You got the whole show, you got the sound bites, you got the shorts, you got whoever it happens to be come on. We cut all those up, so you can always find what we're doing on there, and you are good to go. So don't want to do that. Now you're probably wondering, why I feel so good, do 75 push-ups a day, except I skipped this morning. I skipped Friday because it's like Friday. I'm just not doing them. So I skip them. So Friday, no. So I didn't do them today, but I'll be back at it tomorrow before Godzilla wins. But I tell you what, I feel great, look great. One of the main reasons is I take a lot of great things. And right now, and I'm going to get on a weight loss supplement because I've kind of topped out at 245, right? So I got to lose another 30 pounds. So I got another idea coming up. But for my testosterone, I take from the wellness company Zeus. For you guys out there over 40, this is one of the best investments that you can make. It's about $60 a month with promo code Godzilla, so $2 a day. I've been taking them now for 9 months. My the last time I got checked, my testosterone level was up out of the danger zone. It's supposed to be like 2.5. I was like 2.6. Now it's like 3.5. And this is all I did. I didn't take an injection, any of that stuff. Only I took Zeus, and it was called Mars. They changed the name. I take 2 of these a day. Tell you the other thing it does, honestly, and this is like weird, but when you take it, I drink a full glass of water. Like that's before the coffee comes, before my 1775 coffee. It forces you to take a full glass of water. And that's the best thing you can do when you wake up. So I just take two of these a day. It takes 3 seconds, and it has really made a difference in my testosterone level, my energy, but it's all natural. See, I like natural supplements that do the right thing. Peter McCullough turned me onto this, Dr. Kelly Victory. You can check this out. Their new product, Zeus, right here. I got the bottle. For you guys out there over 40 now, if you're 25, you don't need it. But if you're over 40, getting over 50, a little long in the tooth, this is a good thing to have. And it's not only for what you think it is, right? That's benefits too, just to be honest with you. That's fine. Always good, right? Better to be that than the other way. It's all good. But you'll feel better, you get more energy. That's really what testosterone is about. Getting more energy, getting more stamina. That is really what the whole thing's about. So just go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla, get yourself 10% off and order it today. Zeus, with your promo code, it's $60. So it's affordable and it works for you. So you're good to go. Okay, let's get to, we got a couple clips here. But first, let's get to the phone lines and let's get to Tim in Orlando. Tim, you're live. Line one.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Always great news from Florida, as you know. But I guess you're going to hate my call today, John. I love you. I love your enthusiasm. I want to solve Iran's, the Straits of Hormuz problems like anybody else. But Trump needs to his advisors need to regroup, get some support in that area from area countries that want to help solve that problem. And he needs to refocus on the United States for the next 2 years. He's losing support from MAGA. He's losing support from the Republicans, and he needs to refocus on America right now. I hate to say that. And we're energy rich. We have Alaska. We have the Gulf of America. We have California that he needs to get some more fuel. I mean, we have Texas. We are rich in oil and gas. So he just needs to form a coalition over there to solve the Straits of Hormuz. I mean, why do we have to do it?
Because we're America, and nobody else will. What are you going to wait around for France to solve your problems? Once you control
in the area.
Once you what? Who's gonna Oman? What, Qatar? I mean, half those people are in bed with the other guys, and everybody knows it. So that whole thing is a facade, right? Whatever help we can get from these people are fine. We don't solve it. Who is? If not who, when? Now, I get the whole nuclear thing, but now it's about just keeping these straits open. They have the only leverage this whack job country has is those straits and shooting drones at cargo ships, which don't even damage them half the time. That's all the leverage they got. You take that away, they're done. Open this thing up, take their oil, get oil down to $1.85. I mean, you want to focus on domestic issues, then everything comes down. All prices drop. I mean, that's the answer. Just continue these ridiculous negotiations with these people, and Trump laid it out. You shake their hand, you sign a deal, they go out, they talk to the media. Oh, we never said that. Oh, we didn't agree to that. Oh, we're not doing that. It's a waste of time. I mean, this idea that we just, kowtow back and focus on domestic policy. You want to focus on domestic policy, Tim, get gas to $1.95. Then you're going to win. So I understand the hand-wringing that's going on and the chagrin and the, Trump promised this and Trump said this and now we're in a war and MAGA's upset and MAGA's upset and MAGA's upset. I'm sorry MAGA's upset. I'm MAGA too. We're all upset. But this idea that you just abandon the globe because you got a midterm coming up. The best way to get these prices down is to just end this thing. Why do we have the military if we're not going to use it? You see the increase in military spending we just had? I mean, it's a staggering amount of money. Well, if we're not going to utilize it, what the hell good is it? So, I love you. We're going to agree to disagree. But I will give you the final word because I'm a gentleman. Go ahead, Tim.
You are a gentleman. And And I'm so happy for you and Ann, and I wish you success with your new purchase in Nashville because you are awesome. We just got some new neighbors from Tennessee, and we were at the last HOA meeting, and I said, why did you move from Tennessee? He said, well, it was a job opportunity, but the new resident loves Tennessee. So congratulations. I think that's a growing market for you. So excellent.
Well, I tell you what, when we first started this, it was like, well, we need to be in swing states. And the problem is some of our swing states are no longer swing states. Georgia is becoming blue. I mean, just like it's going there, right? It's right now it's majority minority, and Ossoff's going to win handily, and I think Jackson wins, but that's no longer what we thought it was. Virginia's gone, so now it's like, okay, there's no more swing states. This is basically not where we are. There's basically red and there's blue. So now our strategy is to go into the red states. Is why we went into West Virginia. It's more fertile for us. We get a bigger audience there. So, strategy changes. I mean, as things evolve. So Georgia is becoming a colossal waste of my time, to be candid with you. It just is. You guys are in Florida. I mean, the fact that poll numbers are showing this crazy mayor ahead in the governor's race. I mean, I don't think she's going to win, but that place is just, and yet, and then they don't do anything, right? They wouldn't fix the maps like this. That's another group of Republicans, Tim, that don't want to win. You know who wants to win? DeSantis. DeSantis wants to win. Give me a DeSantis anywhere, any governorship, any state. Give me DeSantis. Probably the best governor in the history of the world. Your governor until what, January or what? When is he up? 28, right? 28. Is that when, or 26? When is he up, Tim?
It's 26.
26, right? So you got him till January. Oh, that's right. You got Byron Donalds, right? So he's going to be awesome. But look, we like Tennessee, we like West Virginia. We still love Virginia. The areas I'm in are still very critical, but I'm losing interest in Georgia. Candidly, I just am. Once that speaker took Kemp's maps and kicked it to the curb, where we could have picked 2 seats up in 28, I'm done. You just can't do anything with these people. They don't want to win, Tim. They don't want to win. How do you? It's like that clip we play from a coach Singletary. You can't play with people that don't want to win, because then you can't win. Unbelievable. Tim, thank you. 888-480-JOHN. Rob in New York, line 2. Rob, you're live.
John, one day, and I didn't initially want to talk about this, but you brought it up. One day someone will have to explain to me why the right doesn't want to win in many states. And Georgia is the perfect example. Perfect. I just don't get it.
They don't want to win.
I really don't.
They don't want to win because they operate, Rob, they operate from fear. They're scared. They're scared of everything makes them scared. Right? The Democrats, the communist jihadists that are taking this country over have no fear. Every time you turn around, we got some Republican cowering in the corner, cowering over Iran, cowering over gas prices, cowering over maps, cowering over this. They're all hiding in the closet behind mommy's apron. Don't want to take a tough vote. Don't want to get rid of the filibuster. Don't want to fire the parliamentarian. Don't want to do the SAVE Act. Don't want to gerrymander the maps. All fear. And they got a million reasons. It's good governance. We're good governance. There's no good governance here. Your head is going to end up on a stick, you imbecile. There's no good governance. These people want to kill you and destroy this nation and take it over in 3 to 5 years. Don't even get me started. That time with Bannon on Monday at 8, guy nailed it. The Republicans don't even know what to do. They're just caught like, when's our next cocktail party? When's our next donor retreat? When do we play golf again? Let's go to a golf tournament. Let's have a fundraiser, play golf. Let's go to the country club. Let's do whatever. Anything but put ballots in boxes and change your maps. So, yeah, it's frustrating. And I get Tim's frustrated. But the frustration isn't because President Trump is trying to solve an international crisis that affects our world and us. It's because of the John Thunes and the guy in Georgia and all of these people, the clowns in South Carolina, all of them. We've been sold out and sold out and sold out, and then you want to know why MAGA's dispirited. Sorry, Rob, I took all your time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, and MAGA should be really excited. I mean, one thing we're actually winning in the Supreme Court is on a lot of gun rights lately. We have Harmeet Dillon over at the DOJ that's going after all of these insane liberals with crazy gun laws. That's a big part of the freedom. Not that we want to run around with guns shooting at each other, but the fact of the matter is that the first thing communists do is disarm the public. So, these guys are on the march. Well, here's a way we push back. Take the frickin' W. Take the win. That's just one example. But then you look at the war, which is what you were talking about, aside from taking some time and doing things that didn't, some of us were looking at and saying, okay, why is he doing this and that? I think what he did in Iran was pretty darn good. You stop these guys from getting a nuclear weapon, which was the primary objective. You tried the diplomacy after you beat them down heavily, because you don't need these nuts accusing you of being a war criminal. I mean, we have the left in this country that thinks Trump is worse than the Ayatollah. I mean, that's how insane people are here. So you do everything. You show the world I tried to negotiate, okay? Because realistically, we could have blown that country, turned it into a parking lot. But why do that? Why kill a whole bunch of people?
He did everything right. He tried to negotiate. He tried to do the right thing. He didn't want them to have a bomb. He got intel that said they were going to have it. Has nothing to do with Netanyahu or Israel or anything else, right? He's the commander-in-chief. He made a command decision. That's what leaders do. They make tough decisions. That's leadership. You got to make tough decisions. Easy decisions, anybody can do that, dude. We can all do that. I mean, I deal with it around my executive tenure here all the time. You got to make tough decisions. They're not easy. But people want you to lead and make the tough decision. The right one and the tough one. And once in a while, you're not going to be right. Nobody bats 1,000. Ted Williams, 405. That's it. Highest in history. You don't bat 1,000. No one does. So, you know what? I think he made the right decision. I think he showed leadership. And what the Republicans don't have right now, other than President Trump, is any leadership. None in the Senate. House abandoning him. Not going to vote for the War Powers Act. Like all this nonsense. Don't gerrymander maps. Put their thumb up their butt, run away and hide behind mommy's apron and talk about good governance. What the hell's that mean? Let's have good governance. Well, the communists are there and they want to put you in an internment camp. Well, that's not nice. That's not nice. Don't do that to me. As you're, behind a barbed wire fence, which is what they plan on doing. Because we won't fight. I mean, I belong to a party in Washington, D.C. My chagrin here, my beef with these people, my chairman, is they don't do anything. And if you try to do something, then they throw you out. So they don't want to win. They don't even want to compete. Doesn't mean you have to win. Compete. Take the shot. They don't want to do that either. Get in the ring. Get in the arena. We all got to get in the arena. The jihadist communists are in the arena. Right now, here's what did in Maine. Let me just give the example of what we're battling here, Rob. Let's take Maine. They stand behind this guy, allegation after allegation after allegation. And if you read the New York Times article, they vetted him. They knew it. They didn't care. He could win. They didn't care. He was ahead in the polls. He was beating Collins. He got 155,000 votes, right? He was batting these things down. He was getting big crowds. He pulled ahead of Collins. New allegations came out. They swept it under the rug. They said that women were Trump voters. They were Republicans, whatever else. Then he starts to tank in the polls. This is what this was about. He starts to tank. And then, conveniently, 1 week before he's got to withdraw his name, which is Monday by 5 o'clock, 1 week, guess what? A new allegation comes out of nowhere on Politico. But this woman was a Democrat. Therefore, she's credible. I was going to vote for him. Oh, you must be credible. The other one, even though she alleged the same thing, abuse, etc., sexual abuse, right? All of that, sexual assault. No, those were discounted because they were Republicans, allegedly. So this comes out, and in 1 day, you think this wasn't planned? In 1 day, after he denies it, in 1 day, everybody abandons him. Like that. Boom. Time for somebody else. He's tanking in the polls. Let's get him out. Then they go with him and they negotiate that in order for him to do a video, he's got to get out of the race. But then he says, well, then the video is going to be whatever I want. They say, fine, anything to get you out because we got to win. So he does an 11-minute video, blames them, blames the establishment, blames the Democrats, blames the party, blames everybody but himself for 11 minutes. The most sniveling, weasel, cowardly thing I've ever seen in my life. And as of today at 6:55 a.m. on Friday, he's not withdrawn. He's not filed the papers. He's got until Monday. Still not withdrawn. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. I have no idea. But this is how the Democrats fight. Biden can't win, they get another candidate. Platner can't win, they get another candidate. You think the Republicans would ever do this? We're fighting, we're going to a tank battle on cavalry with a musket. They have tanks and flamethrowers and bazookas. We have muskets. It's kind of where this is. They have the will, we don't. Therefore, we're losing. And then all I hear about is MAGA's upset, they're not going to vote. MAGA's upset, they're not going to vote. MAGA's upset, they're not going to vote. Okay, what are you upset about? Well, the war. Okay, they were going to get a bomb. Why did you elect this guy? What was the purpose of electing him if you don't want him to make the tough decisions? What was the purpose? Well, I want him to focus on domestic. Me too. But I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean focus on domestic? He is focusing on domestic. Like you don't get nuked. That seems pretty good domestic policy to me, Rob. Go ahead, Rob. I'm going to give you the final word. Go ahead. You got 2 minutes unfettered. Go ahead.
There's so much that people are missing. With respect to Iran, it also was reshaping that whole area. I mean, you have now, people don't even realize this. Look at the UAE. The UAE was building a pipeline so that they got out of OPEC, so you don't have them relying on the Strait of Hormuz. UAE got also very chummy with Israel. You start getting these guys together with each other and they isolate Iran, you have a whole new Middle East. And that's a net positive for the world. I'm not kidding, not just us, because you isolate some crazos and you have other people in that neighborhood that could be, no, we're not standing for this either. And as far as domestic stuff, yeah, that is part of the domestic thing. But the ones who are telling us they want the domestic agenda, well, why don't you do something about it? You're not passing the SAVE Act. They're playing around with McConnell. I mean, McConnell, what they're doing right now with McConnell is no different, in my opinion, than what the left did with Biden, covering him up, covering up his dementia. That's what they're doing. And you nailed it the other day, because if McConnell is out of the picture right now, either if he passes away or he steps down, we could get that Save America Act through.
Yeah, because
they don't want it.
Because he's a no vote. See, because they don't want it, because they don't want to win. At some point, you just got to acknowledge Your party doesn't want to win. They don't want to win. It's like the point shaving scandals that are going on right now in college basketball. Every day you look up on ESPN or the Athletic, because obviously I'm in that business to a certain extent. I follow it. There's a point shaving scandal a day. This is a point shaving scandal. McConnell is shaving points. They don't want to win. They just feign it. They make believe they want to win. Give them money. Get a fundraising text. Unbelievable. That's the frustration. Those that are frustrated at President Trump, you got the right feeling, you got the wrong target. The target is the Senate. The target is these feckless weasel Republicans who won't do anything. It's not your president. John Fredericks Media Network. I'll be right back. Colonel Dunn next.
Back and forth attacks between the U.S. and Iran as Tehran has targeted American allies in the region.
Missile alert sirens went off in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar as Iran retaliated. There's no word on if there's any damage in those Gulf countries, but it just shows how everything is escalating, and this interim deal to try to end the war now looks increasingly at risk.
Correspondent John Gambrell. An Iranian military drone displayed this week in Coral Gables, prompting warners from lawmakers and national security experts who said Iran's growing relationship with Cuba could pose a threat to the United States. These drones were believed to have been sent to Cuba before the war in Iran began. In health news, some 1,000 cases of a parasitic infection spreading in the Midwest.
Cyclospora is a parasite that causes severe diarrhea. It spreads through contaminated food and water, often linked to fresh produce. The largest Cyclospora outbreak is in Michigan. Investigations are underway in 28 other states, including Ohio. No deaths have been reported. The CDC says Cyclospora is usually not life-threatening and can be treated with antibiotics. Experts say finding the source of the outbreak can be difficult, and it's best to cook vegetables. Cyclospora can really stick to some foods, so washing may not eliminate the risk of infection. I'm Ed Donahue.
Sales of previously occupied U.S. homes slowed in June, but a key measure of home prices climbed to an all-time high, adding to prospective home buyers' affordability challenges. The National Association of Realtors said that existing home sales fell 2.4% last month from May. Sales rose 2.8% compared with June last year. The national median sales price increasing 1.8% to $440,000. More from townhall.com.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Mortgage interest rates have inched up.
Mortgage rates march higher. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage rose this week to 6.49%. It's now back to where it was 2 weeks ago. When mortgage rates rise, it can add hundreds of dollars a month in cost to a home loan, reducing home buyers' purchasing power. Mortgage rates have been mostly trending higher for months. Higher oil prices due to the war with Iran raised expectations for hotter inflation, pushing up the long-term bond yields that influence mortgage rates. The trend has contributed to lackluster home sales this year. I'm Alex Vega.
PepsiCo reporting stronger than expected revenue in the second quarter despite weaker demand in North America, where it said consumers tightened their budgets due to economic concerns. The food and beverage giant said that its net revenue rose 6.4% to $24.2 billion for the April-June period. That was better than what Wall Street had expected. News and analysis at townhall.com. Facebook's parent company plans to build a huge AI data center in Canada.
Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, says it's investing more than $9.1 billion to build its first artificial intelligence data center in Canada and the largest outside the United States. The facility will be in Alberta and will be powered by a natural gas-fired plant being developed by a consortium. Alberta has been courting hyperscale data centers because the province's electricity grid cannot support multiple large AI data centers. It's prioritizing projects that have their own power generation, as Meta plans to do. I'm Donna Water.
Former Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum has been arrested on a drug possession charge in Alabama after police say they pulled him over for erratic driving and found marijuana and meth in his vehicle. Gillum once considered a rising star of the Democratic Party. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Van Hillary has fought for America before, and he's ready to do it again. As an Air Force navigator in Desert Storm, Van's mission was simple: chart the course, stay on mission. When he came home to Tennessee, he won an election nobody thought a Republican could win. Then he did it again and again. For almost a decade, America First conservative Van Hillary has fought the radical left, stood with President Trump, and never folded, securing our border, cutting taxes, and bringing jobs to Tennessee.
Radical Democrats are trying to hijack our country. President Trump needs a conservative fighter who knows how to win. I'll keep fighting to help President Trump finish what he started, keeping our border secure, growing our economy, and destroying the woke agenda. I'm Van Hillary, and I approve this message because I'm standing with President Trump to get America back on mission.
America First conservative Van Hillary. He's never folded, and he never will. Paid for by Van for Tennessee.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Ponder this. Why would God permit evil to occur? Why does he allow bad things to happen to good people? Why doesn't he intercede when innocent people are unjustly accused? These questions sometimes cause good people to turn their face away from God and question the very existence of God. But God does exist, and he does permit evil. Why, you ask? The short answer is that God permits evil to bring about a greater good. Think about this. The greatest evil ever committed is the killing of our God, Jesus Christ, the second person of the Holy Trinity. From this great evil came the greatest good, the opening of the gates of heaven. That's right, heaven did not open until Christ shed his blood for us. We must always trust God's plan for our salvation, especially when hard times fall upon us. Pray, trust, and persevere in good times and bad. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
Hey, it's good to have you with us, TGIF. I am John Fredericks, your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Got to stop the hand-wringing, guys. It just got to stop. You're getting nowhere with this. And I get the Anthonys, and I get Tim, and I get people are upset, and they're mad at Trump, and they're mad at this, and MAGA staying home, and Candace Owens, and this one and that one. Man, Shapiro, I get it. But you're aiming your fire at the wrong target. It is Republicans who don't do anything, not this president that is working 18 hours a day, 6 days a week. He does play golf on Saturday and Sunday. It's unbelievable. I can't cover the guy. I mean, I'm 2 blocks away and I'm exhausted just trying to follow the guy around. It's exhausting. I mean, every time you look up, there's something going on. You don't get a day here in covering the White House like I do. You don't get a day of peace or rest. The guy never stops. Now, he went into Iran because obviously he had intel and he had to make a decision. And you elected him to make a decision, and he made it. And now we got all this hand-wringing, and we're going to lose, and it's got to focus, it got domestic, and you got to come back home, and I don't care about Iran, I don't care about Europe, I don't care about NATO, and you got to come in, got to get gas prices, grocery prices. It's all going to come down. Finish the job. Finish the job. When gas is $1.95, what are you going to bitch about then? Because it's coming down. You elect a leader to make tough decisions. That's why he's there. And now we're criticizing him. His base is upset because he's making the tough decisions. Well, we didn't elect him to go to war. Well, when he was campaigning, nobody told him they were 3 months from having a bomb where they could blow up half the friggin' world. Idiots, so to speak. Nobody told him that till he got there. Okay, I don't care about the ballroom, John. Who cares? Who cares? Seriously? I don't care about the ballroom, John. Why is he doing a ballroom? Because they need a ballroom. I don't care about the reflecting pool, John. Why is he doing a reflecting pool? Because our city was a joke when he got in here again. Worse than the first time. And he's cleaned it up. I don't care about his name on a museum, John. I don't care that they named the West Palm Beach Airport after him, John. Give the guy some grace, okay? So they named an airport after him. So they put his name on the Kennedy Center. Whoop-de-doo. What do you care? The guy they tried to kill him 3 times. I don't get it. One little blip and everybody's like abandoning ship. The Democrats never abandoned ship. They got this guy Platner. They stayed with him until his poll numbers tanked. Let's take a page out of their book. I'm sorry, guys. They're just tougher than we are. They're just tougher. They want to win. We don't. Certainly the Speaker of the House in Georgia doesn't want to win. Certainly the majority in the Senate in South Carolina, they don't want to win. John Thune doesn't want to win. Half the Republicans in the Senate don't want to win. Certainly, the chairman of the D.C. GOP doesn't want to win, Patrick Mara. He doesn't do anything. They're yet to put a press release out. They don't want to fight. I'm looking for fighters. We got a fighter in there. He's fighting for us every day. Look at Trump accounts. Do you know that? I'm going to get to Colonel Dunn in a minute, but Tim fired me today. Thank you, Tim, for the call. Look, Benny Johnson, Congressman, Mississippi, shouldn't be there. in a illegal, gerrymandered, racially motivated district, which the Supreme Court has disallowed. But, Governor Tate Reeves, he didn't want to do it this time. He's going to have to wait until the next time, blah, 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 blah. So Benny Johnson, who represents the poorest congressional district in America, the Mississippi Delta. I want this to sink in. The Mississippi Delta. Dirt friggin' poor. My son Jack, now getting his doctorate in Arizona, taught there for 5 years in an impoverished high school with no money. Minimum wage. Their parents made minimum wage. Struggling to get something to eat. This is the poorest district in the country. And you know what this scumbag does? He advises his constituents not to take advantage or sign up for Trump accounts. Let me get this straight. You don't want them to sign up for Trump accounts if you were born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2027. You don't want your constituents who are the poorest in the nation to sign up for Trump accounts because they're called Trump accounts, and they get $1,000 of free money from the federal government, no strings attached, going into a savings account tax-free for 18 years. If you put nothing else in it, you'll probably have $10,000 by the time you're 18, which you can take out for college, trade school, start a business, or any of the above. You can take it out tax-free. You can you can have a paper route and donate $1 a week. You can get your grandparents to donate, tax-free. But you're getting $1,000 staked for you to buy into the American dream. So when you're 18, you have something and you see it grow. Yeah, it's not going to change it's not going to change your whole life. But he doesn't want you to take the money. You know why? Because it's called Trump accounts. No, but here's the real reason. And then I'll get to Colonel Dunn. Here's the real reason he doesn't want you to take the money. You ready? Because you might not be dependent on the government for a handout. You might not be dependent anymore. And if you're not dependent, you're not going to vote for them. So they want to keep you downtrodden, poor, and dependent so they can get your votes. This is the sickness of the Democratic Party. Don't take the $1,000 as a baby. Don't take it because it's got Trump's name on it. Because you might buy in to the American dream, which if you do, will never get elected. Because the only way we win is by keeping you dependent on us for handouts to live in poverty. Somebody dispute that. What else? Why else would he do that? Absolute scum. It's what we're dealing with. Sorry for the rant. Colonel Dunn, in the waiting room. Colonel, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you doing this morning?
Never better, Colonel. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding.
Okay. Break down now what is going on in Iran.
Well, as I suspected, and as we chatted about a few weeks ago, we were going to play tit for tat with Iran for some period of time. And so what I believe is happening is you have an Iranian government that wants to make a deal with the United States because they're rational people. And then you have many others inside that regime, probably some stalwarts from the previous regime, that do not want to make a deal. And all they want to do is destroy the U.S. and destroy Israel. So they're screwing up the peace process. They're doing that by making these very limited but somewhat painful attacks. And they know if they do that we have to react because President Trump has said he will react. So now they're doing some things, they're getting a reaction, and that's slowing the peace process down, which is probably playing right into the Democrats' hands. It would not surprise me, and I just say this not out of jest, it would not surprise me if some Democratic U.S. personnel are negotiating with some of these regime people. It would not surprise me one bit to say, keep the fight going. Keep the fight going. If I could prove it, I would, but I can't. I just suspect it's very possible that behind the scenes we have some of our own unfortunate American people trying to get America to lose this war. And if we could prove it, I'd love someone to prove that. But I hope it's not true. I just have my suspicions.
Colonel, I want you to elaborate on that.
We've seen the Democratic Party over and over again in some of the fake news push a narrative that we're losing this war. I saw it yesterday. I saw it the day before. You'll see, I saw a news bit that said Iran shot down 30 aircraft, 30 drones, almost like voting for them if this was the World Cup. They are almost exuberant when an aircraft or a U.S. service member is killed, and they want to report it over and over again to just say, look, we're losing, even though, you know, every death is tragic, but the military of Iran is gone. You know, they have the ability, and, you know, some will argue that they're not completely annihilated. Well, that's nearly impossible to annihilate an entire nation of military capability, because they can always rebuild some stuff. But you're seeing this in the news on the left. They want to have a bullet point to say that this didn't go as well as President Trump said it would. Well, it's combat, it's war. But in the reality, the region is much safer today, and it is much calmer today because Iran has lost all the wasta and all the capability to project power in the Middle East. They cannot have that win narrative go into the midterms.
So you actually believe that there are forces in the country in some sort of senior positions. I'm not talking about some rogue civilian with an iPhone. Some kind of a senior position representative of this government that is undermining Trump's effort in Iran and rooting for the Iranians to hold on and defeat us.
I don't know that they want Iran to defeat us. They want Iran to appear to be winning as we roll into the midterms. I would hope that no American would like our enemy to defeat us, but I think the thought of winning the midterms is pushing a narrative. You know, you talked about the Maine congressman, who is a terrible person by all accounts, right? Everything we're seeing, if it's true, is terrible. Yet they supported him all the way through. And if a Republican had, you know, gotten a speeding ticket, they would have made that the narrative. So it concerns me. Absolutely, it concerns me. Is someone doing it? I don't know. I just perceive that there is a reason why Iran, every time they do an action, they get annihilated again. So why are they doing that? Maybe because someone is making them a promise that if we get to the midterms, it'll all change for you. Can I prove it? No. Is it happening? I have no idea. It just seems, I'm very suspect that it could be happening.
It's a very interesting hypothesis that they're being advised back channel by people within our government that they just got to keep doing this to affect the outcome of the midterms, and then the Democrats will take control, and then they'll be able to go back to doing whatever they want.
I think it is a likely narrative and a possibility. Absolutely.
It's unbelievable. I mean, when you really think about the reality of that, tough to do. Let's. I want to get to, even though we're talking about the war here, Dan, I want to get to 10 because Colonel Dunn brought up the Maine situation. I'm going to play a montage here, Dan. Let's get to 10. Here's a montage that Fox News put together of all of the people on the left making excuses for Platner before they decided he couldn't win. This is unbelievable. Roll it.
Republicans should just really just shut up. They really should just shut up if they're going to be critical of Democrats for supporting a morally challenged candidate.
My empathy goes with the bravery of that woman for speaking out, and he has to drop out of the race. Platner's problem is he should have ran as a Republican, and then he would be the senator. because they don't have an issue with this.
It's not okay. And I keep pointing to the one at the top because this is the one that is in front of our kids as well.
Yes.
And we have to explain why we say no to this one, but this one is okay.
And ultimately, deeply enraging political career for Graham Platner, enraging for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay for him. Absolutely. And they backed him. An interesting note, just for fun, I used the Google this morning. 4 years ago today, in the state of North Carolina, the average gas price was between $4.38 and $4.80. Today, it's $3.55 to $3.88. So $1 difference 4 years ago, and yet everybody's complaining. Imagine if Iran had gotten their nuclear weapon and used it, what gas prices would be. They'd be $19, $19 a gallon probably. So but you hit it on your monologue earlier, is that the Republicans are losing the information battle inside the United States because they just I don't know what's going on. It's blowing my mind why they're not getting on TV, getting online, getting on the radio, getting everywhere, and reminding the people of what greatness President Trump has done for this country and for the world. And if they don't do it, we're well past the 4th of July. I thought the gas prices would come down. They did. I thought they'd be below 3 by now, but they're about, where I'm at North Carolina, they're about 3.46. So I'm about 15% above where I want them to be right now. If we get a stop to this by October, they'll be below $3. But we're not progressing. We're not stating that fact. And as we get closer and closer to November, it may turn out to be bad news for us.
Because the communication is horrible. I mean, we have no message. We have put no policies forth. I mean, the Democrats have a message. The person who's running for governor in Texas, Hamaso, state delegate, I think, or state senator, state representative, running against Abbott, right? Puts out a plan the other day. She wants everybody in Texas over the age of 18. She's going to give them a check for $1,500, $1,500, tax-free check. Where's she going to get the money? Well, she's going to take it out of the rainy day fund. Then they say, well, you can't take it out of that. It's for a rainy day. And she says, well, it's raining in Texas for the people who are suffering. I'm going to give them relief. See, that's an absurd plan, but it is a plan. And the country has changed. McGovern offered everybody $1,000, making under $50,000 in 1972. He won the District of Columbia. He didn't even win a state. Oh, and Massachusetts. Why did he get blown out? When they did the exit polls, the majority of people, when they asked about the $1,000, said, well, someday I want to be making over $50,000. I don't want to pay $1,000. See, that's when people had a dream. Now it's like, well, I don't have any money, so give me $1,500. I'm voting for you. Well, where's the money going to come from? I don't know. Print it. The hell do I care? Right? And the Republicans have no answer other than a white paper coming out of the Heritage Foundation. That doesn't work anymore.
What's not working?
We have no message.
That's right. And what's not working is socialism's bad. Socialism's bad. If you are intelligent, you understand that. If you're intelligent, you understand that it will never work in America. You understand that. But when you tell somebody that's hungry that I'm going to give you $1,500, they don't think about the socialism piece of this. And in reality, what many of the people that get that $1,500 will probably do is go buy a cell phone for $1,500.
Bingo.
And then they have no money again. So all it is it's the old adage: teach a man, give a man a fish, he'll be hungry tomorrow. Teach a man a fish, he'll never be hungry again. That's what this is, but we're not able to counter it very well. You can't just yell at everybody and say socialism sucks if you don't explain why. And I think where I think we're going to be okay, I hope, is the New York experiment, which is failing miserably, and it's going to implode. I just don't think it's going to implode by November.
Oh,
Maybe
no,
by next
no way.
November.
That's not going to implode because Hochul will keep bailing him out, in order to save her own butt because she needs his votes. And she can't win without his votes. I mean,
but eventually all the industry will move out.
Mondani has got this whole thing figured out, Colonel. He's holding the state of New York and the Democrat machine hostage.
He is.
They're hostages, except they're not wrapped up in a chair with duct tape. But Kathy Hochul's a hostage of Mondani.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. All right, let's get to cut number 7. I want to get your take here, Dan. Roll it.
Also breaking at this hour, the U.S. launching its second round of strikes in 24 hours in response to Iran firing on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces hit approximately 90 Iranian targets, and Tehran responding by firing on American allies across the region. The back-and-forth attacks coming just weeks after a hard-fought deal to end this war. President Trump renewing his threat to, quote, finish the job.
We just hit them very hard. And I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20. And we did it last night. They did a little something today, but it was really retribution for last night. They hit actually 3 boats, not 2. And when they hit, we hit back much harder.
Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Tel Aviv for us right now. Mike?
And Sandra, Iran has been firing at its neighbors. For the first time in this round of fighting, hostile aircraft have entered Jordanian airspace. The Jordanians say they shot down some 8 missiles. U.S. Embassy staff there was ordered to shelter in place. No injuries. The U.S. hit multiple targets, including bridges on rail lines that the U.S. says were used by Iran to transport weapons. Those were hit. U.S. Central Command says some 90 different targets were taken out in Iran last night. 80 were hit the night before. Now, Iranian state media reported explosions in southern port cities. Explosions in Bashir, home to that massive nuclear power plant complex. The U.S. says the targets were on the coast. The power plant was not hit. We've got video of explosions in the port city, Khabakar. Iranian counterstrikes went into Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. Kuwait says they shot down 3 ballistic missiles, a cruise missile, and 10 drones. The Kuwaitis also say 1 person was hit by debris. President Trump says the Iranians have been calling him and want to make a deal.
We've already won militarily. They have very little left, and they want to make a deal so badly. They called a little while ago. They want to make a deal so badly. I just don't know if they're worthy of making a deal. I don't know that they're going to honor the deal. That's the problem.
All right,
the 6-day funeral for the late grand.
Let's get back. I've only got a couple minutes. I mean, here's the problem. Okay, I played an earlier clip where he was with NATO and he said they're scum and I can't negotiate it with them. But yeah, I'll let my guys negotiate but I'm disengaged. Then he gets on the plane going back and he's like, well, we're still going to negotiate. That's the problem here. Okay? Like there's a mixed message. I'm not going to negotiate. I am going to negotiate. They're scum. I don't trust them. We'll see what we can do. They want to make a deal. No, they don't want to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, they wouldn't be shooting at our ships. This is the problem of the messaging is inconsistent. The messaging was, I'm done with them, which I thought it was. And, you know, I got to do what I got to do. Have a nice day. I'm going to solve it. But now it's, well, they want to make a deal. Well, they already made a deal. They didn't uphold the deal. So what do you mean they want to make a deal? This is where the frustration, Colonel, is coming in and it's rampant.
Well, there's the challenge I was talking about earlier, right? You have 2 factions at least. You've got a faction that probably really does want to make a deal, right? What they need to do, and it's very hard for them to do this, right? They need to now turn in the factions that don't want to make a deal. Let us know where they are, who they are, so that we can take them out. Once you take out the deal breakers, if you will, those are the blockers of this, then maybe we can move on. I actually like what the president's doing. He's sending a dual message. You know, the bad guys, if you will, are getting the message that you're scum, we're not going to make a deal. And ideally, he's leaving a door open for a good guy, if you will. However, in my opinion, it's now time to take out some economic targets. I've been against that from the start. I would take out 4 or 5 that will hurt them. But I would take out things that could be rebuilt by Iran at some point. And I would destroy them. And then I'd see if they want to make a discussion. But The other thing American people need to know, Iran is our enemy. They've always been our enemy since the 70s. They will lie to us about everything. The enemy lies to you, and they do that routinely. And when you are in a party that believes, when we took out Soleimani of CNN and some of the other news, they called him the revered leader of Iran. Well, he was a mass murderer of Americans, and they supported him. I still can't believe that I go back and watch those clips sometimes. It enrages me that we're supporting a man and saying how a great leader he was in Iran who killed thousands of Americans and helped kill thousands of Americans. But we had Americans that were supporting him. That's the problem we have.
Yeah, because they hate America.
They hate America.
You just summed it up. Colonel Dunn, thanks for being with us. People want to get your book. Where do they go?
You can get Gunfighters Rule. You can get it on Amazon.com. I'll have another one coming out hopefully in the next few months. It's a follow-on to that book, and God bless America. Hoorah!
Great to have you, Colonel.
Thanks for having me, John. Have a great day.
Always a pleasure. Joel Rubin next.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Satphone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Satphone. Satphones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Satphone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your Satphone. Call now.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Mike, at any point in your coaching career,
it's amazing how many of us choose to go about our daily life without recognizing others who cross our paths each day. Take, for example, your morning walk, run, or workout at the gym. As we encounter others, often we don't make eye contact, let alone smile or greet each other. Listening to music or a podcast with our earbuds is so much more preferable than having to greet others we encounter. As a result, people are becoming more and more disconnected from each other. So let's start a human connection trend. Here's an experiment for you to try. Put your phone and earbuds away for a day while in public. Try to engage others in your path with a simple smile and a kind hello. These simple gestures will become a powerful force in the world. A smile costs nothing, but can be a powerful tool to brighten the day for others. Let your smile be a light for all to see. It's a gesture of love from the Lord. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Mike, at any point in your coaching career, did you ever have an interest or express an interest in being a head coach in the college game? And do you have any idea how that may or may not have led to folks like Ryan and Doug Whaley and Carson Palmer connecting you to some college jobs?
Hey, guys, I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time that I address it. And not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never. Okay? Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Anyone else? All right.
Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
I'll tell you what, if you want great internet connection, no matter where you are, Starlink Mini is one of the greatest things I've ever got. And I tell you, it's $169 on stat123.com. And then I think I pay $59 a month. So I used to have all these jetpacks laying around in my bag. I got 5 of them or 3 of them. They're all gone. I have my Starlink Mini. Why? Because this thing is the greatest thing ever invented. You can take it in the car. You can take it in your bag. It's this big. It fits right in your briefcase. It fits in your computer bag. You take it in. It's got a plug. Doesn't matter where you are. You just put that by a window, and you're getting 100 ups, 100 downs, right? You're not in a hotel. Ever go to a hotel, try to get online, right? Everything is slow, can't get it, kicks you off, trying to get a Zoom call. Forget that, right? You get your Starlink Mini. This thing is like, it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter how many bars there are, what room you're in. If you got a window, now if you're in a box somewhere, you're not going to get out. But if you got a window, if you got a balcony, anything like that, you got a car with a sunroof, boom, you put it right there, you put it right by the window, you're going to get the greatest internet service you've ever gotten. This thing never goes out because there's satellites all over the place. It's called the Starlink Mini. Check this out. Just go to sat123.com, sat123.com, and stay connected no matter where you are, especially if you're, run companies or you're executive or you own a business and you need to stay connected to your company, see what's going on. And internet is important, good coverage, downloads, uploads, whatever it is. Starlink Mini is the way to go. It's going to make the jetpacks, and I know many of you have one, or the hotspots, it's going to make those irrelevant. That's how powerful this thing is. And it's this big, it fits right in your bag. Go to sat123.com, sat123.com. Check out your Starlink Mini today. Join me now, Joel Rubin, Democrat, or I guess he's kind of a Democrat. He was. I don't know what the hell he is now. He's just like a common sense guy.
Jeez, John.
Trying to figure out what's
killing me.
Party's doing. Okay, I got to play
a horrible week. A horrible week.
No, right?
There.
But I got to play a clip for you here. Let's see which one I got all excited about my Starlink here. Let's get to where is it here? Let's get to we played the Fox News montage. Okay, 12. Let's get to 12. Here's David Axelrod. Okay. David's one of
Don't do it to me.
David, one of Joel's buddies, right? He goes back with the Obama days, right? Well, you just like, I just want to say this before we get to cut 12. I almost feel like putting up a billboard in downtown Richmond or like in DC, just buying it, because I did one of these once for McAuliffe for my own money, and having a picture of President Bill Clinton with a cup of coffee saying, "Miss me yet?" Democrats, miss me yet? Wouldn't that be fun? I should do that. I gotta find out. I did one in the I-64, I-95 interchange in Richmond when remember Governor Northam and the blackface and all that stuff was going on. It was a complete disaster. And I bought this billboard. I had it for 3 months of Terry McAuliffe with a beer.
No, that's some serious trolling going on there, John.
A billboard. Everybody knows it. It was a billboard. I got pictures of it somewhere on the website. I bought a 90-day billboard, and I told McAuliffe ahead of time. I sent it to him because I didn't want to use his image without it. He said, "Go for it." It was McAuliffe with a beer, and the billboard said, "As you're coming into Richmond on 95, miss me yet?"
I think the short answer would probably be yes in a lot of ways. I'll let you play the clip though, because I'm sure it's only going to fire me up a little bit more. Oh my God, what a week!
Go ahead, roll 12 for my good friend Joe Rubin.
David, first off, I just wonder what you think of what you heard. This was a very lengthy video that he put up. What did you think about how he did this?
I thought it was disgraceful, honestly. He had an opportunity to accept responsibility. There was nowhere in the 11 minutes that he ascribed any of this to his own actions. It was very Trumpian. It was, it was blame the accusers. It was don't accept responsibility. It was martyr yourself. It was really, I thought, a bad moment for him, to completely duck responsibility for his own actions and blame everyone but himself, including the accusers, was just a terrible mistake in my view.
Well, here we are. Break this down for us as a reasonable, common sense Democrat. Your party is shrinking you out. But what was your take on this whole thing, Joe Rubin?
John, this has been a horrifically awful, no good, bad, lousy week to be a Democrat. Okay, so let me just put that there. This has been one of the worst weeks that we've had. And seeing that Yosemite Sam character do that video, otherwise known as Graham Platner, just topped it all off. And I think, look, Axe is right. Look, here's what we just saw with Platner. This was a fake candidate, all right? Let's just be very direct. This is an individual who won a beauty pageant for candidates by putting his name forward amongst hundreds to a very far left consultant group called aligned with the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, the group that's trying to destroy the Democratic Party. So these consultants tried out a variety of people because they wanted to look for real Americans. And I know I'm going to go right into your sweet spot here, but they wanted real Americans. They wanted a white guy, tough guy, talking tough. He could stand up for the working man, all this sort of like, honestly, good things, but they did it in such a sort of superficial way. They were just looking for a character. They might as well have just gone to Hollywood and done tryouts there, and they probably could have found a better candidate than this guy. But they found this guy, and this guy was the furthest thing from any of that, but he looked it, and he sounded it. Turns out he's a scumbag. Turns out he has been credibly alleged of having committed rape. Turns out he's a deep anti-Semite. Turns out that he is a fraud in terms of his personal story. Even the oyster farming thing is ridiculous. It's a joke. He basically grabs oysters and sells it to his mom, and he's been doing that for a couple of years. But this is what they gave us. And so they've basically destroyed unity in the Democratic Party in a race that is highly winnable up in Maine, as you know, and spoiled the whole concept of like public service. I'll just close with this. From my view, I've had an argument throughout the week with folks in the party. I said, I like my candidates, and you don't have to agree with this, but my view is I like my candidates to have at least some track record of demonstrating they care about public service, work in nonprofits, get elected to school board, serve in the federal government. I don't know. I feel like if you're applying to be a United States senator, you should have shown that you care about doing public service. He had none of that in his background, except that he did serve in the military, and I give him credit for that. But then afterwards, and this is the last thing, really bugs me. It didn't come out yet, but Collins would have killed him with this if he had made it to the general, is he complains about how he was hurt during the war in Iraq. Fine. I accept that, and I think that that's a legitimate position. But then it turns out, went right back in and worked for Blackwater as a mercenary. So how hurt was he, right? So the whole thing was a joke, and it's a terrible, terrible day to be a Democrat on this. And he and his team are still trying to rip up the party because they have to get off the ballot by like Monday at 5 o'clock. Otherwise, he's still on it. And they haven't taken him off yet. And they're torturing the state party who's trying to do a nominating convention to get a replacement for him. It's a nightmare.
And he still hasn't submitted the
How's
paperwork.
that?
That's great. I mean, the best thing
for you guys, it's awesome.
Well, no,
Sorry.
no, it is. I mean, look, but
I'm smiling, but yeah, good.
We also got to get to the truth here, and I think what you depicted is the DSA. Here's what I understood what you said: the DSA is trying to destroy the Democratic Party from within, and they found what you called a fake candidate that auditioned for somebody to take over the party in Maine and maybe win a Senate seat. And so they manufactured this guy for basically nothing.
Absolutely. 100% correct. And to add, Axelrod, he sort of did a higher level analysis and all. Let's get very clear. The only people that Graham Platner blamed in his 11-minute diatribe was the Democratic Party. He wants to destroy the Democratic Party. His anger is at the Democratic Party. His anger is at the institutions of the Democratic Party. Doesn't matter if it's national, doesn't matter if it's local. They're all bad. And, I think, frankly, that is the goal of the DSA. And, in a weird way, paradoxically, maybe mission accomplished. Look at what they're doing to us anyways, right? But they really, and last thing I'll say is I worked for Bernie on this presidential campaign in 2020 as his Jewish outreach director, which I'm now going to speak out about publicly. I've really bit my tongue a lot over the years, but it was a nightmare to see the kinds of people that were circling that campaign, the base, and this is why I've moved away from that lane aggressively. I don't think I ever was really in it, but they wanted help from a normal person to say to the Jewish community that Bernie's not crazy. But it turns out that everybody supporting him in the Jewish function is crazy and anti-Zionist. And, Bernie created this guy. This is the Bernie infrastructure. The people who did the recruitment worked on the 2020 campaign. This was a Bernie creation. He didn't endorse the guy. He created the guy. And he was the last of the prominent ones. It took him a day to say he should leave. And he was like, yeah, he should leave. More because he knew the guy had to go rather than for any moral or ethical reason. Even after the Nazi tattoo, and Bernie is Jewish and grew up in an area where there were Holocaust survivors who had numbers burned into their arms by the Nazis. That Nazi tattoo didn't bother him. I don't get it. So that's another layer of depth, and that's why I'm getting a little more. That's why I did on CNN yesterday. I'm vocal about this. I'm just so disappointed, and I think as Democrats, we really got burned on this one.
Wow.
Get it?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the whole Bernie thing. Here's another thing you said that I'm going to put up. You said he didn't endorse the candidate; he created the candidate. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So again, Graham Platner basically was a nobody, right? Again, he had never been elected. He had never run. And that doesn't mean he's a nobody as a human being, but he was a nobody in the political community and in the public sphere. And he came out of nowhere because he was recruited by a consulting firm that wanted to install a candidate that would carry the far left, the DSA line. And those individuals who comprise of the recruitment, the consulting firm that does the recruitment, are Bernie alumni. And Bernie was one of the original early supporters of Graham Platner, doing events, rallying, sending out emails, fundraising to raise his profile in the base of the party to help him win the primary. And all of the infrastructure, all of the far left infrastructure, all of the DSA infrastructure does not burp without Bernie and his team saying you can burp. Okay, so that's how it works.
Joe, what's his objective now? What's Bernie's objective?
He's still on the march. There are people who are still running in Michigan. Abdul Sayed is one of them. He's seen some successes with Mamdani. He's certainly seen some successes in New York with the Chevalier and some of the other congressional candidates. He saw a recent success in Colorado, knocking out a very progressive longtime member, Dana DeJet, with a young woman who her professional acumen is that she's been a student her whole life. And the feature, the connecting line amongst all of them is that they really hate Israel. All right, so let's just add that to the line. So his objective is to keep on pushing, because ultimately what he wants is to have enough members in either chamber, certainly in the House it's a little easier to get, where it's, while not enough to take over the party and win the majority and have his person installed as majority leader or Speaker of the House next term if we win the majority, it's to have enough of a chunk of members to determine whether or not an individual will become Speaker of the House, and so in a way become the power broker behind the scenes. That's the objective here.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Dan, play the Elizabeth Warren clip for us, please.
I am here because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Platner is the fighter we need. You bet. I said to myself, that's my kind of man.
What would you think?
She's gonna
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, she's gonna never live down those words.
We're gonna play it every day for life.
No, boy, what a gift. That's the thing. Let me just say, for the Democratic political professionals, and that's a world that I know well, there is a lot of Schadenfreude. There's a lot of we told you so underway, because Democratic professionals, just like Republican professionals, are professionals. And there is a system and a process for reviewing candidates and vetting them. It's not nefarious. It's not the establishment trying to destroy people. It's just like a job interview for a corporation. You go through layers because they want to make sure you're the right fit and that you're going to be effective. Same thing for the vetting process. That's the key word in this. Professionals in the Democratic Party would have noticed that this is not a good candidate through vetting. It turns out there's this now famous interview that Maraf, the guy who did the recruitment of Platner, he did with the Wall Street Journal, and he's like cackling. And they ask him, well, did you vet the guy? Yes, we gave a chunk of money to a firm. I won't mimic his voice because it's so irritating. But then they said, well, what did you think? You know, the Nazi tattoo, did that come up in the vetting? No. Well, okay, dude. If you can't even know that there's a body tattoo for 18 years, you did not vet this guy. And so then you have Elizabeth Warren, Ro Khanna, Chris Van Hollen, many other members of Congress and Democratic Party just going out there and saying crazy things, endorsing, supporting this guy, trusting that what he's saying is true and that the vetting has been done properly. And they were all hoodwinked. And now they look horrible. And they gave Republicans tremendous material for free. All right. It's incredible. It's just incredible. What an own goal.
Well, and now you can't win that seat. I don't really care who they nominate. Collins is going to win. But I think what bothers us is that it almost looks like they stood behind a guy until his poll numbers were slipping before.
Oh, yeah, he was going to lose.
He was going to lose. And then all of a sudden, this Politico report comes out. And then the next minute, everybody abandons him and he's got to get out. The next minute. So it almost seems to the layman, I know that this is not necessarily what happened, but to the layman, it really looks like an orchestrated event. Like, you're now losing, we got to get him out. And so let's drop this Politico piece, which everybody knows what that is, who said the same thing the New York Times said, but the credibility was because she voted for Obama and she was a Democrat. And the other lady that he allegedly sexually assaulted was a Trump voter and a Republican. Therefore,
right,
she had no credibility.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what happened to me too. So if you're a Republican and you get sexually assaulted, that's what you had it coming. I mean, I don't know how to even frame that.
And I want your audience to know the answer is no, you don't. And that is why this was the horrible, worst, most disgustingly bad week for Democrats that I've seen in a very long time.
Hey, not to get into Elizabeth Warren's marriage, but like, if you're her husband, like, what do you think about that?
I wouldn't be happy if my wife went out there and started shouting some other dude's her guy. That might bother me a little bit.
That's my kind of guy. And like, well, wait a minute.
What about me?
What do you mean that's my kind of? Look what this guy's doing. Like maybe we should go to one of those like marriage counseling things where, we get out in the open, because like, I don't know, like I don't assault women. I guess maybe I don't know what's maybe we need a little spice in our life. That has got to be. Come on,
but
man.
John, this is politics, right? And the same thing happened. Ro Khanna, after the first set of allegations came out, where Lindsay Fifield, the Republican operative, complained legitimately about what he did. Ro went out there and others went out there like the day after and made big speeches about how he's great. Platner is great, and he's going to stand by him, and redemption is part of the American story. And they just lathered it all in. They just went all the way. And, again, as a Democrat, I have to say we should be doing better than this. I will say this. I'm not going to make a critic of Republican argument here. I'm going to say, just as a Democratic Party, I believe we should hold ourselves to standards. And I believe we know what those standards are. And I believe that we violated them when we not only had this guy getting into the system, but then saw our leading voices from the left consistently endorsing him, pushing him, and forcing him through, right? Like they were forcing him through. And I think we failed to meet our own moral test as a party and our own ethical lines. And that to me is what's most, as you can tell by my tone, most upsetting and concerning. Because if you lose that, if a party loses its vision for what it's about, it loses it all. And I think we're on the precipice of that with this Platner fiasco.
Well, Joe Rubin, you had an awful week, but you look great. So
I was in Israel the week before, John, which we should talk about. You go to Israel, it sort of revitalizes you.
Next week, we'll talk about it. Come on next week. I'm going to tell Tina now, book you next week, and we'll talk about your Israel trip next week, because I want to hear about that. But of course, we have to talk about Platner today. My kind of man. Okay. Joe, thanks for being with us. You want to follow Joe Rubin? Where do you go?
The briefing book on Substack. That's a great way to find me.
You're going to be on DSA's. You're not going to be on their
I'm on their shit list already, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sorry for
on the air. You're on their shit list. There's no doubt about it. Dan, don't even.
Scary.
Dan, I'll take the fine.
Sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself.
I'll see you next week. My best to your wife and family. Right back at you.
$9 billion Wall Street expected, according to analysts polled by FactSet. In February, PepsiCo slashed U.S. prices on Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, and Tostitos chips by up to 15%, responding to consumers' increasing exasperation after years of price hikes. Keith Peters, Washington.
The buckling of two steel columns at the former Pfizer headquarters in Manhattan, raising questions about one of the nation's largest office-to-apartment conversions. Engineers say it highlights the complexity of adaptive reuse projects, but not necessarily a flaw in the concept itself. News at townhall.com. There's an unusual piece of art in the Netherlands.
At a museum in Rotterdam, Netherlands, they're spreading more than 800 pounds of peanut butter on the floor. It's a tribute to Dutch artist Wim Schippers, who died last month. Schippers was known for his conceptual art, and he first created the peanut butter floor in 1969. Robert Knoop is museum art handler, so he gets to install the peanut butter.
My hands get very dirty because everything is covered in peanut butter.
Museum director Sandra Kisters says the piece of art is kind of an absurd work.
It also questions what art is. It's funny.
I'm Donna Warder.
France returning 23 Syrian archaeological treasures after they remained in the country for 17 years. Their return coincided with French President Macron's landmark visit to Damascus. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Satphone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Satphone. Satphones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Satphone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your Satphone. Call now.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network. What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Later on, at summer's close, the crack of bats where heroes rose. We cheered at games beneath the sky, remembering those who sacrificed. Oh, liberty, land of the brave and true, blessed by God in all we do, from golden shores to mountains grand. The greatest blessing in this land, we raise our voices clear and bold, a story that will not grow old.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who always says to lace them up and lace them tight, John Fredericks.
I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Well, this Reporter Day, Rob Curley with us. Rob, great to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Missed you last week. We were on vacation. Rob Curley, Washington Examiner. You can read his column every day. Go to WashingtonExaminer.com/secrets. WashingtonExaminer.com/secrets. We're still waiting to get his email list going. After 3 months.
I know.
Just send an email. I mean, just tell your editors or whoever's in charge of that place.
I've told them. They don't know what they're doing with the technology.
I mean, if I can do it, you can do it.
I know. There's nothing more I can say. I'm sorry.
Well, just go to WashingtonExaminer.com. So the problem is I forget.
Yeah.
So, and that's why you want the alerts to come up. But hopefully you'll be soon getting that in your inbox, Rob. But we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know where to start, so I guess we'll start at the beginning, Rob. And then get into some of the things you're writing about.
Can I tell you about some of the data I've got from some fun polling?
Yes.
Let's
start there.
Right. Of all the potential 2028 Republican nominees, who would you most like to sit down and have a beer with?
Have a beer with?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio.
Okay. Interesting that you say that. So my friends at JL Partners have polled this question exclusively for Washington Secrets. I thought that was going to be the answer, right? I'm hearing a lot of good things from him, from the administration. He's on top of the foreign policy, as we know. He's also, everybody will tell you, great sense of humor. He knows everybody in the building, all the junior staff, very, very popular.
Plus, he's a baseball fan.
There's plenty to talk about. But you know who did come top? And this slightly surprised me, and by quite a long way, the answer is J.D. Vance. 24% of Republican voters said they would most like to sit down with J.D. Vance. In second place, Don Jr. I think we can guess why. He's a bit of a party guy. Pint with him will be quite good fun. So Marco Rubio only came third with 13%. The rest of them, Ron DeSantis, 7%. Nikki Haley's in there at 4%. Poor old Ted Cruz, again, down on 4%. He doesn't seem like a super
I would think that would be like negative.
But look, this is, if you're a fan of J.D. Vance, if you're part of his team, this is good news. Because what is this telling us? This is telling us that Republican voters, the people who will decide who the nominee is, they think that he's a relatable sort of guy, that he's not weird. This is the problem for J.D. Vance, right? There's a certain cohort of people who think he's a bit weird. He goes on Fox News. He beats up on Democrats. He throws around ideas that immigrants are eating your pets. There's a sense that he is born to be the keeper of the MAGA flame, which might not make him the most fun guy to sit down and have a beer with. So this is good news for him, that actually Republican voters are saying, yeah, I'd like to hang out. I'd like to spend some time in his company. I wonder with Marco Rubio, I wonder if they think they're going to get a lecture on foreign policy. They're going to have to discuss the ins and outs of Venezuelans' geopolitical status vis-a-vis Cuba. You know, maybe you get into the nitty-gritty of stuff like that. But I thought that was super interesting. J.D. Vance, Republican voters would most like to sit down with him for a beer.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see why I'd do that. Of course, if you sit down with Rubio, it's going to be a little bit of a different convo.
I think so.
Right?
That's the point. That's the point.
Different.
Yeah.
You know, I'd probably ask him about the Marlins because they're winning now. They're going to make the playoffs. I'd probably ask about, you know, what the deal is with the Dolphins. So that would be fun. But yeah, I can see where JD, certainly Don Jr., those of us that know him, he's a funny guy. He's a little bit different, but he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Of all of them, the best one to sit and have a beer with, to be honest with you, of all of them, is Eric Trump. You've ever done that, and I have. He's the most fun.
I haven't sat down for a beer with him, but I have hung out with him, and he does seem like a good guy.
He's cool.
And he's the one who's running the businesses, right?
I
He's
know.
got real responsibility. I mean, there's a school of thought that says actually he would be the guy to have on the ticket in 2028.
Right.
I mean, I suspect he wouldn't be the slightest bit interested.
No, he
I
wouldn't.
think his wife would have something to say about.
But Don
that.
Jr. would be great.
He's got an expense. You know, he's got divorces to pay for, right? I mean, he that's the problem he's got with running. But Don Jr. clearly, you know, euphemistically, shall we say, a bit of a party
Plus,
guy.
he loves social media.
Yeah.
He definitely connects.
You're going to have a laugh with him. You're absolutely going to
he
have
definitely.
a laugh with him.
You could see a Vance, because you know everybody believes it's going to be Vance Rubio.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're the two that everybody's talking about.
Right.
I mean, of course, whoever the eventual nominee is gets to pick their running mate. But those two, Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, kind of they appeal to different parts of that Trump coalition. You know, I suppose the disadvantage for Rubio is you no longer have to think about who can win Florida for us, like Florida is locked up. So that's an advantage that perhaps Marco Rubio doesn't have anymore. But those would both be strong candidates. Marco Rubio, slightly more crossover appeal to some wavering Democrats. He's been a pretty solid, competent pair of hands.
But then you got Vance in the Midwest.
Yep.
So I think you combine the two of them, it's probably a pretty formidable ticket.
I tell you what, JD Vance's kind of secret weapon is Usha Vance. I think she's a complete knockout. She's a super smart woman. She's taken on some interesting causes. She's a big reader. So she's put reading at the center of what she does. She doesn't mess around. And I think she actually could be an extra tool in JD Vance's toolbox.
She's a very impressive lady. I've only met her a couple of times. Never had a conversation with her, just met her. But very impressive young lady. You know, mom, three little kids. I think they have
Soon to be four. Yeah.
Soon to be four. So she's going to have 4 kids. So that's always an appeal. Rob Crilly with us, Washington Examiner. Follow him. WashingtonExaminer.com/secrets. Got a column up there every single day. We're going to be talking about Graham Platner in a second, just to get his take on it. But first, Rob, did you get a good night's sleep last night?
I did, actually. Yeah, I didn't sleep badly at all.
Okay. If you ever have trouble sleeping, you got to take REM sleep every night. I don't get to sleep 8 hours a day, maybe on the weekend, once in a while, probably on Sunday. It's about the only time I get it. So I get 6.5, maybe 7, but I got to get the best night's sleep that I can. And the reason is I got to have that deep sleep. I got to have the REM sleep. If you're only sleeping 6.5, 7 hours, it better be good, especially as you get older. Do not underestimate the power of sleep. And why I take my REM sleep, my whole family does from Healthy Cell, is it supports all 4 phases of sleep. It's completely natural. There's no drugs to it. You take it, you just get a pack, you zip it off, you down it. 50 minutes before you go to bed, it supports all 4 phases of sleep. So you fall asleep, you'll stay asleep, you'll dream a lot because it gets you in that REM sleep, which means you're dreaming, and that's when you get the deepest sleep. And it's very affordable. It's going to have a great impact on your life immediately. It's not like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Just go to healthycell.com, HealthyCell.com. I know you guys have been putting this off for a while. HealthyCell.com. Promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off your first order. You get this. Look, my son Jack just went out of town. By the way, he was caught in the D.C. airport yesterday, 9 hours. And when he got to his hotel, I'm like, dude, take, when I was talking before I went to bed, so as soon as you get there, take your REM sleep. Be sure you have it. Yeah, I got it, Dad. And you'll go right to sleep. HealthyCell.com, promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Get your REM sleep there. So Joe was in the airport yesterday. He had a 2:00 flight. He got there at 1, and he got there at 2. He had, I guess, at 3. He got there at 2 in the afternoon, took off at 11 p.m. I guess they closed Reagan, and he was there for 9 hours. And they, of course, they don't say, the flight's in 9 hours. They say 20 minutes, half hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. You just wait.
What was it? The weather? The
weather,
storms, yeah.
They actually, it was not the airline. I think he flew American, but they shut the airport down.
Big storm last night. Yeah. So, of course, as soon as there's lightning, everything stops for 30 minutes. And if there's any more lightning, it's another 30 minutes and another 30 minutes.
Yeah. So it was closed for a while. And then, it's closed 4 hours. Then you get the backup, right? Mm-hmm. So you didn't get pilots in. You can't get them out. So
terrible. 9 hours. Awful.
But what I told him is, I'm like, dude, it's part of life. Everybody's gone through that at least several times. So you've got one box you can check because it will happen to you again.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way it is. Graham Platner, what's the deal?
I mean, who could possibly have seen this coming? A man with PTSD, clearly it's too much, a string of allegations. I mean, who could possibly have predicted it would all eventually?
A guy that's got a Nazi tattoo that says he didn't have it. A guy that goes on some app Reddit. That they say is a predator app or something.
Okay. I was going to say Reddit. There were anti-gay slurs.
Reddit.
There's other apps.
Anti-Semitic stuff.
So, I mean, I think there's all sorts of interesting things it raises for me. One thing I'm going to highlight, Maurice Katz, who's been portrayed as the great savior, his campaign manager, this great sort of savior of the Democratic Party for the way he is finding or working with these anti-establishment outsider
they're
candidates.
Communists. Let's just call it like it is. They're Democrat socialist candidates. You can take the Democrat away. They're socialist communists. That's who he's finding.
So, here's the point I want to make is here's what Maurice Katz said yesterday after Platner announced he was withdrawing. And he's posted on Twitter or on X, as soon as the team became aware of the rape allegations against Graham Platner, we advised he suspend his candidacy and in the following days work to wind down the campaign. Like so many of his supporters, I'm deeply disappointed. Well, this must be a different Maurice Katz to the one who earlier this week, his campaign was denying any sort of rape allegations, calling them unfounded and false. I mean, so you have this team of advisors around Platner, Liam Phan and Dan Morath. They were the ones who actually went out and they say sifted through hundreds of videos of potentially different people in Maine. They found one of this oyster farmer. They went through his FEC filings and discovered he'd been a donor to Bernie Sanders. They were the ones who, if you like, created this candidate. So the question is, what happens to these people who are sort of lauded across the liberal media as the people with the secret sauce, the magic touch to find the sort of candidates who could prosper in this Trump world of unusual candidates, outsider candidates? What's going to happen to them? And I'll tell you what's going to happen. Despite having completely failed with Platner, having completely failed to vet the guy, to even question whether a guy with a Nazi tattoo might be the wrong guy, they're going to get hired straight away, right? I mean, we know the world we live in. We know that the consultants can seemingly bounce. This feels like a career ender, right? In any other walk
this guy will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
With a bigger campaign, doing bigger things.
These guys will all be back. And I think that speaks to, actually, the desperation of the Democratic Party, who still haven't really come to terms with the Trump world, right? To this idea that you can take a non-politician and he can completely upend the world we live in. They're still looking for their own version of a Donald Trump, and it's not going to be a billionaire business owner, right? Maybe it will be an oyster
Well,
farmer.
I just had Joe Rubin on, who said a couple of interesting things that I had written down here. Number one, he said, and Joe Rubin, longtime Democrat, State Department Deputy Secretary of State under Biden and Obama, ran for Congress in Maryland, Jewish, you would call moderate, traditional liberal, like the old school, like a Birch Bayh type thing back. That's even before Rob was around. But back to the traditional liberals, Mo Udall, things of that nature, Fred Harris, the guys that I grew up with that were legitimate liberals, right? McGovern, things of that nature. That's kind of where he is, pro-Israel. But he called him a fake candidate. He said the guy was manufactured by these consultants. He said everything about him was a lie. The tattoo that he said he didn't get, because he, those of us that have tattoos know the way he explained it was just not the way it happens. And nobody even questioned that. And then he said, they basically went through these interviews. He called him a fake candidate. They never vetted him. They created him. And then he said Bernie Sanders didn't endorse Platner. He said he created Platner from thin air. And he said therein lies a problem with what's going on with the Democrats. Now, kind of dovetails on what you just said.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see now is everybody looking through all the list of candidates that Bernie Sanders has endorsed or perhaps created. And I think one by one, more problems are going to be exposed. And it just speaks to this problem that Democrats have in adjusting to our politics today. Do we know if they've got to grips with immigration and the border, right? Well, the biggest issue that has riled American politics for the last 5 or 6 years. What is their position on that? What is their solution? What is their package of measures that they believe can win over voters? Where are they on the economy? What are their affordability plans? Instead of going through that hard work, they're looking to shortcut the process and find these magical candidates who can act as the savior of the Democratic Party. And if you're putting all your eggs in that basket in this way, it's not surprising. I don't know what you end up with, scrambled eggs, an omelet. I don't know. That would be quite a good outcome. But it's no wonder they've ended up with such a mess.
The other thing that Joe Rubin said that I thought was fascinating, he said that, I'm very suspect of candidates with no record of public service whatsoever that just pop up like one of those, when your kids would have the pop-up thing and they wind a thing and it would pop out of the box. You just pop up. He said, give me somebody at least, ran for council, ran for school board. Ran for, or to chairman, something that they've done that's in the public service realm. And he said, Trump was different, but, he said offline to me, he said, but the difference with Trump is Trump was commenting on political stuff for years.
Right.
Years, right? He was he was my only ally going against NAFTA back in the day, NAFTA. I even hate saying the word. It's just NAFTA, right? He was my only Republican ally before he became a Democrat. Like, we couldn't find anybody but him. So, but he's been speaking out on China and issues forever. This guy, and then like the oyster farmer thing, well, they never vetted that. Apparently he just shucked some oysters and sold them to his mother. The whole thing is ridiculous.
So I think Joe Rubin is absolutely right. And it's funny that you had him on because I found
he's a great guy.
I found some of his public comments on exactly this point. And yeah, it wasn't that Graham Platner was out there. These two consultants, Leanne Fan and Dan Maroff, in order to find him, you know how they did it? Having seen this video, I think it was a New York Times video of him as an oyster farmer. Okay, maybe the credibility of that is under question. But in order to get to him, it wasn't like they turned up to a local council meeting or he was on the hustings or he was making a public appearance. You know how they found him? They went to his mother's restaurant, the Ironbound, which is quite an institution, found her and said, could you give us your son's number? It's not like he was out there. It's not like he had a public website and he was a major player in the community and that everybody knew him and you turn up and you'd bump into him. No, they had to go to his mother's restaurant to get her to put them in touch with him.
This is how decrepit this party is. And it's not even, and it's interesting. I know there's other things to talk about, but of course this is politically fascinating for us. because Rubin, by the way, Dan, we got to do two things. We got to cut that up into like three because it was so great. So I'll send you that. Also, Dan, get the Elizabeth Warren clip ready because I'll play that till I'm dead. But it's like what Joe was saying is that you got to understand the objective of the DSA is twofold. It's to win seats, but it's also to completely destroy the Democratic establishment party. And that's part of their goal, as is Bernie's, because he was burned over Hillary because he had a pillow fight with her and he wouldn't stand up to her and probably should have been the nominee. But that's basically what he was saying. How do you stand on that?
I mean, I don't know. I maybe see some of this a little bit differently because, as you know, I'm British. I come from Europe. Democratic socialists are not people that give me nightmares overnight. These are people who want to raise taxes and spend a bit more on public services. They're being branded here as communists.
Well, because they are.
Well, you know, again, for those of us in Europe who grew up under the time of the Cold War, Bernie Sanders is not what communism looks like. Now, that's not to say he would do all sorts of things that a lot of Americans would be opposed to, but the idea that somehow these are the same people that ran the Soviet Union.
Well, they want to control the means of production. I mean, that's what communism is. And
so
these DSA people want to control the means of production.
I mean,
anyway, look.
I would say you're using some outdated language, and I think that actually what people here are talking about. I mean, actually, some super interesting things we could bring up. Some of the stuff that Trump is doing now looks very much like a command economy and controlling the means of production. He's used wartime legislation in order to step up production of he doesn't want huge investment companies buying up homes. For example, he's meddling in the free market in a way which actually a lot of people on the far left also agree with. So I don't know. I think you have to be careful throwing around terms like controlling the means of production.
Because it makes the left
communists.
Nervous because that's what they're doing. Look, controlling the means of production is not when you're telling BlackRock you can't buy up entire developments of houses, so young people can't buy them. And then you jack up everybody's rent and you control the rent in that community, which is what BlackRock is trying to do. This is no different than when the Hunt brothers tried to corner the silver market back in the day. I mean, it's free market. They could do that, but it's not good for anybody. And so that's why it crashed and got stopped and the Fed stepped in.
I think if I was a Republican, if I were in your position, I would think about the being warned that as soon as you call somebody a Nazi, you've probably lost the debate. In the same way, as soon as you start calling some of these people communists, I think you need better arguments.
On that note, we're going to take a break, I guess, right? What are we hitting? Bottom of the hour here? All right. We got to get, I've got another guest coming on, Rob, so we only got a couple more minutes. Hold this for a minute, Dan, so I can get through here, Rob. Thank you. Dan, I want to hear, I want Rob to grasp the Elizabeth Warren clip. I can't get enough of this clip. I just want to get his take as a guy. What he thinks about this. Roll it.
I am here because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Platner is the fighter we need.
Yes, baby.
You bet. I said to myself, that's my kind of man.
Oh, baby, yeah. I can't stop playing this clip. What is, like, okay, so let's say you're dating Elizabeth Warren, right? You're her date for the weekend or something. I guess she's, her husband's not around, or you're her husband. And so she says, this guy who's got, when she said this, he had all these allegations, Reddit and this app, this Predator app, and Nazi tattoos and all these women that girlfriends had accused him of bad behavior. And then she's up there saying, this is my kind of guy. This is my kind of man, not guy. So my kind of man. So you're her husband. Like, how do you react to this? Like, okay, let's see. What have I been doing wrong here for the last 40 years?
maybe,
Come on, Rob.
well, maybe if you're a husband, you need to go out and get a Nazi tattoo. I don't know. Look,
Exactly.
So when was that? When was that filmed? That was
Like
after
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Well, look, another. So I'm sure that clip's gone viral. I hadn't seen it until now. I'll tell you another clip that's just gone viral. I happened to catch last night. Was AOC absolutely refusing to weigh in and essentially talk about him? And the comment was made, well, she worked behind a bar for many years. She probably has seen a lot of Graham Plattners and knows exactly how these men operate. So I think, look, what do you do? I think we live in difficult times. The world is polarized, and you do get a lot of attacks. I mean, what was the name of the woman who accused Joe Biden of sexual assault? Tara Reid, right?
Yeah.
Now living in Russia, churning out anti-American screeds from there. Look, I think it's a very difficult thing for politicians to know the Democratic position. The position, in fact, of all right-thinking people is that women don't come forward lightly to make these allegations and should be believed. I think this clip for Warren is deeply problematic, but I would turn to people like AOC who appeared to, their senses seem to be warning them against getting involved with this guy. And I think we all know, Graham Platner had been in the military. He was a Marine, right? Multiple deployments, PTSD. I think we all know the impact that can have on people. We all know the impact of drinking too much. We all want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and second chances are important. Second chances are, if you like, the American way.
This was not a second chance. This guy is a predator of women. He's a scumbag. He's a piece of crap. No right guy goes on those apps. Nobody does that. And then he said, oh, I had PTSD. But then he went, and after he gets out of Iraq, he joins BlackRock. I mean, the whole thing. And I'm an oyster farmer. He sold them to his mother's restaurant. I mean, this whole thing it's beyond problematic. This guy is fake. They just created this guy out of thin air and then stuck with him until his polling slipped behind Susan Collins. And then all of a sudden, Politico launches a story a week before he's got to get out of the race to get off the ballot. Who knows how long they had it? We don't know if they had it for months or days. But isn't it ironic when his poll numbers slip behind Collins, they launch this story on a Monday, and then he's out by the end of the week. He's gone just in time to get a new candidate. And then all of a sudden, everybody believes him, but they didn't believe the other two women in the New York Times because they voted for Trump. I mean, this is like, if you don't think this whole thing is manufactured, you're just living under a rock. These guys play to win. They don't care who's there, what they say, who they abuse. If they can gain power, they're all in. The minute the guy slipped, I'm telling you, if he was still ahead of Collins by 6, they'd have stuck with this guy. He was down by 5 to 7. They saw the polling numbers. He was not going to win. And so they dumped him. And then he puts a video out and blames him. I mean, the whole thing is hilarious. Then you got Elizabeth Warren saying, that's my kind of man.
I tell you who else is a loser in all of this. I mean, Susan Collins, right? I mean, she would have had this guy for breakfast with all these allegations floating around. She's going to have to come up against a proper candidate. We don't know who it's going to be.
I agree.
Whoever they have has got a short runway now. It's going to be tough for them.
I agree.
But I think it's a much harder battle now for
she was going to beat him by 10.
Yeah.
And they knew that. And also the juxtaposition of Susan Collins' grandma. And you've met her, right?
I haven't actually.
Oh, God.
No.
She is the nicest woman. Now, I'm not sure how she is behind the scenes.
Right.
But the nicest lady you would ever meet. She has the nicest smile. And, she has a tick. It's not Parkinson's, but, she has that going on. But just the sweetest lady you could ever meet. And when you sit down with her or you just talk to her, it's like, you're sitting at the kitchen table and she's just made the grandkids a batch of cookies. That's what she's like. And going up against this guy, she would have beaten him by 10.
And
But
I mean,
we got to go.
And let's just say,
I'll give you the final word.
that is the absolute crucial seat for Democrats. If they don't win in Maine, it's
done.
all over for them. It's all over
Because they're gonna lose the Michigan seat. Okay, John Fredericks Media Network. Thank you, Rob, for joining us.
Lovely to be
you
here.
can follow Rob. Go to WashingtonExaminer.com/secrets, WashingtonExaminer.com/secrets. He's got the inside scoop on everything. We got Mandy coming up. What? Mandy's coming up for the RNC, and we're going to be right back after this quick word from our sponsors. Thank you, Rob.
Brilliant.
Side as you come in is the Lincoln Memorial and the Capitol.
Okay, good
Very,
stuff.
very fun.
Thank
you.
so much.
Thanks.
The Trump
Sorry, I had to cut
administration
you
has
short.
brought
No,
positive
I mean, to be honest,
changes
my
when it comes
mornings
to
are my
fixing
business.
our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America. No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Thanks for being with us. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the beautiful Washington, D.C., the cleanest, safest, most beautiful city in America. Crime is down unbelievably since Trump has been here. I don't even have time to give you the stats, but they are significant. Some areas of crime down over 50% since he's been here, since Jeanine Pirro has been there. So come and visit our city. Don't forget, last day, if you're in the area, come by, visit our great American Fair, which is at the National Mall. Come and visit that. Joining me now, Mandy, got to say your name right, Mandy. Gunasekara. Am I saying that right? Say your name for me.
Gunasekara. But yes, Mandy, you got correct.
Mandy Gunasekara, former chief of staff of the EPA and Republican climate energy strategist, and also part of the Republican National Committee apparatus. By the way, I was just there the other day, and my good friend who's there, Molly Safri, that runs their communications outreach department, had me at the RNC, so got to meet some of their new people, and want to give a shout out to the nice young fellow that booked you today, that just started a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to go and meet, because I'm here, I like to go and meet the people they hire, because a lot of them are young, and this is really, a big opportunity for them being at the RNC. So very, very, very excited about some of her hires, and happy to get you on today.
Yeah, it's good to be with you. And I do the same thing when I make it to DC. I try to swing by and go say hello to everybody in person because we have such an amazing team of really motivated patriots working at the RNC to make sure that the message is strong, that it's clear, backed up by the facts, and that it's getting out there. And they do an amazing job.
Well, listen, I've been working with the RNC since I, got in the radio TV business in a 15-year period. And right now, it's the best. The communications department is the best it's ever been. And a big reason for that is Molly Safri. She's done a super job, communication, outreach, getting us the guests that we need that are timely, like yourself. So we're going to go and talk about NATO, and we're going to start there. Mandy, I'm going to run cut 4. Here's NATO Ambassador Matt Whitaker on some of the stuff that went on. Roll it.
It was a huge success, because of President Trump's leadership. We have seen over the last year since the Hague summit, where we all agreed to 5% of GDP on defense spending, a fundamental shift in NATO and the unity in the room, and the fact that allies have invested about $150 billion in the last year since they made that commitment in defense, plus another $50 billion in new procurements, all from the United States, that benefits the U.S. defense industry, supports U.S. jobs. This was a great vibe, as you would say, in the room and surrounding the NATO summit. The defense industry showed up and our allies showed up. And, President Trump has every reason to take this victory because it's due to his leadership.
Reaction to this, Mandy?
Yeah, I agree with the exact characterization of Ambassador Whitaker. It was time for NATO to step up and do their part. You think about just the geographic proximity to a lot of the problems going on in the world, and it's in Europe's backyard. And it's crazy to think that for so many years, they were contributing very less the amount than they had actually committed to. So President Trump coming in and not just bringing them to the table, substantively bringing them into the equation, it's long overdue, but it is a very good thing to see. And it takes someone like President Trump. Look, I've been at some of these international meetings, not necessarily NATO gatherings, but the same sort of thing. And it used to be the case that when you walked in as an American, you were supposed to apologize for being there. And that is no longer the case. They are proud that we are in the room. We are proud that we are in the room. And they should be grateful that we care enough not just to commit the resources, but to bring them in a substantive way so that we can truly solidify security and other shared interests, not just through the European region, but the neighboring regions that can really impact everybody's bottom line.
Yeah, Manny, I think you nailed it. And I thought it was a tremendously successful summit. He blasted Spain and then said they turned around and then they were nice to him. I mean, it was kind of like stream of thinking, which is, those of us that support President Trump to the extent that, like I do and others, you just love the fact that he tells you exactly what's on his mind whenever it's on his mind. And then he can change his mind based on evolving events, which is part of, I always thought, the charm and the brilliance of President Trump and his communication method. Let's bring in Neil McCabe, my man on the street. Neil, thanks for joining us live somewhere. Let's see if we can. Oh, Neil is gone. Okay, we were just about to bring him on, and he's gone. Okay, Mandy, we'll stay with you. So the president blasted Spain and then said, well, now they're changed their tune, but he was very upset with him because he wouldn't let our planes during the Iranian attack fly over their airspace. What's going on with Spain?
Yeah, I think, like you said, President Trump's engagement, what's so refreshing is that it's very authentic. And sometimes, yes, it is stream of conscious, but that's the nature of relationships. And Spain is another one of these countries that hasn't really shown up to the table in any meaningful way. And then when we've needed some of the resources that they offer, like a place for our planes to recalibrate and to land and to organize some of the logistical aspects of these types of defense endeavors, they have gotten in the way. So President Trump is right to call them out. And I think he got the response that he ultimately wanted. And with President Trump, it's always the case if he's calling someone out, it's because the relationship isn't where he ultimately wants it to be. He wants it to be in a better place. And you could say this for just about any engagement he has with other heads of state. So he called them out. And now, they're back to wanting to work with the United States in a more positive, constructive way. And that's exactly how they should be.
So, Mandy, what would be your assessment of the president's trip to NATO? Successful? How successful and why?
Yeah, I think it's very successful, and it's a continuation of his peace through strength approach. And with NATO, you've had this infrastructure in place for a long time. It's failed in large part to the fact that Europe hasn't been a substantive active player. It's just been, let's rely on the United States. Let's force the American taxpayers to carry the majority of the bill. Let's force the American people to be at the front lines at whatever various incursions are occurring in their relative backyard, and they haven't been able to come to the table for a variety of reasons. So President Trump, this has been from the very beginning. I mean, before he became president, he was talking about this, but he certainly started this work during the first administration, and he really came in the second administration even more focused and understanding that time is of the essence. I think that's the biggest difference between Trump round one and Trump round two. You could apply this in any policy area, but especially when it comes to international matters. And I think that he understands the importance of the infrastructure of NATO, but he's working the way that he does to try to get people to actually revamp it in a way that will have lasting positive impacts, even when he is out of office and not there necessarily keeping these other countries straight.
Mandy Gunness-Arica with us. Mandy, part of the Republican National Committee communications team. She's former chief of staff of the EPA and Republican Climate. And let's go. Let me go and ask you this. Trump has talked about getting troop withdrawals from Europe, like just drawing it down, because like why do we have all these troops in Germany? Why do we have all these troops in these other countries? So he wants to draw them down. What is your assessment of that?
Well, look, I'm the daughter of a military officer who actually lived abroad in South Korea for a couple years of my life. And I understand the importance of having strategic troop and logistical placement around the world for America's continued military advantage. Now, the dynamics of how many troops that takes and the type of technology has significantly changed. So I think recalibrating that to align with modern day realities, it makes a lot of sense. If those resources are not necessarily working, if we aren't getting the most bang for our relative investment buck, then let's reinvest them elsewhere. There are places, other bases throughout the world that could probably use the manpower, or even here at home to help use some of the military support that we've seen with the president, whether it's assisting in local crime management or other endeavors. But I do think that the military personnel should change in the same way that the technology has evolved. And that makes sense in any base, whether it's domestic or abroad.
So why are the Democrats criticizing that? I mean, the way you laid it out, Mandy, makes perfect sense, right? The world evolves, the world changes, technology changes, priorities change, right? I mean, the idea that we have all these troops in Germany, like why? I mean, they're not the Soviets back in the day. I get it, but now you got, Putin can't get out of his own way, and you creating this idea that somehow the Russian army with no more equipment or troops is going to march on Berlin again is asinine. So, it's a common sense approach, right? Things change, technology changes. So resource allocation should shift with that. Makes perfect sense. Why do the Democrats blast it?
Well, the Democrats are going to disagree with anything that the president does. He gets up and he sings the national anthem, and they want to change that. They're just going to try and cast him in the most negative light possible. But I also think that they want to try to stop any of the positive policy changes that President Trump is pushing, because they not only want him to look bad, they actually want consequences to be felt by the American people. He's investing in the safety of this country and for our allies, and they don't like that because it makes him look good, and it makes that the broader movement, the America First movement, and the derivative effects of that, they stand stamp a positive imprint on people's minds, and the American people will want to see it continue. So I think the Democrats are just doing what they do. They're trying to create obstacles so that things fall apart. And if someone gets hurt in the process, the Democrats will count that as a win, because then they're going to make that person or that group of people the poster child of whatever their next effort is to try and regain the reins of power back in Washington, D.C. So it's just the Democrats playing games in the way that they always do, when President Trump is actually making serious substantive changes that help our military men and women, and also help the defense and the military standing of the United States writ large.
Mandy Gusomero, I want to thank you for being with us. You can follow Mandy at Mississippi MG, at Mississippi MG. Mandy, thank you for that analysis on NATO and President Trump's trip, and thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Mandy, thank you. All right, let's get to our man in the street, Neil McCabe. Neil, good to have you with us. Sorry for the little bit of delay. I got behind today, but it's good to have you right in front of you're at the White House on Pebble Beach with the Eisenhower building behind you, facing away from the sun so we can get a clear shot. Looking good today, Neil. I don't even know where to start, Neil. There's so much going on. First of all, we invited you to our big outing at Colonial Downs, so be sure you tell me whether you and your wife can make it by the end of Friday. Appreciate that. But that's a separate topic. That's the fun topic. This whole Platner thing, dude. This thing the implosion is beyond belief. He never took any responsibility yesterday. He blamed the Democrats. The timing of it was suspect. This guy was going to get beat by Collins. Now they're going to pull a Kamala Harris. And you got Elizabeth Warren basically saying, this is my kind of man. What do you think of this whole thing, Neil?
I think Platner still could have beaten Collins. There's a lot of energy in that sort of wing of the Democratic Party. His small donor numbers were fantastic. What killed him was the big donors who said, hey, we can ride with a little sexual harassment. We can ride with some Nazi tattoos, but a full-on break down the door rape, that's where we draw the line. But the small donors and the operatives, they were all in. And of course, it was Mondami's political guru in New York who recruited him and was helping him manage all of these crises as they popped up. And so we'll just see where it goes. He has not signed the paperwork. He has till Monday. And so, I guess they're in last minute negotiations with the Democratic Party in Maine. But, we'll see how it goes. Maine is an interesting state, and Susan Collins is an interesting political animal. Everyone in Maine knows that she grew up on a potato farm picking potatoes. And so it doesn't really matter what her positions are on taxes or anything else. They just know she's a girl who grew up on a potato farm, and she has an outstanding political organization, which is why she has beaten the polls every other time she's been behind.
Who she reminds me of was, remember when Olympia Snowe was there with her? She was the same way. Like, she was a moderate in today's terms, moderate Republican at the time, but she would win handily no matter who they put up against her in a Democratic state, right? Same thing.
Yeah, well, two things about Olympia Snowe. One, she had these ridiculous Minnie Mouse shoes, where she was the only senator who did not have the flags posted outside of her office door, because one time she tripped on one of the flags with these big sort of moon boot shoes that she used to wear. They were utterly ridiculous. The second thing is that the Obama administration was trying to put her husband in jail because he ran a private college called Corinthian. And basically, she decided not to run for re-election to keep her husband out of jail. And that's why we have Angus King in that seat.
Yeah, that's good. You're good with history. So let's look at the Iranian situation now. First, President Trump saying he's had enough. There are a bunch of liars, called him scum. He's done negotiating. Then he goes back on the plane and he says, well, I'm going to continue to negotiate. then they hit them. But the straits are open. But a lot of people think we ought to finish the job. A lot of the oil executives are now saying, hey, we're done with this. Just go in, take the islands, take Carg Island, take over the strait, end this thing once and for all. What is your take here and the feeling of MAGA voters on the street, Neil McCabe?
I think the problem people have, the number one problem people have with this war is that it should have been over like 3 months ago. And people just don't know why it's being dragged out. And so that's frustrating. Supposedly, we've been wargaming for a war with Iran for 50 years. And so, I don't know. We didn't have plans. We didn't think about this stuff. I heard the other day that there are people now at the Pentagon who are saying that the reason why we accidentally hit that school is because the targets hadn't been updated in 10 years. Who forgot that Iran was one of our top targeted countries? You talk about Carg Island. Carg Island's about 400 miles from the Strait of Hormuz, but it is the epicenter of the processing of getting that oil that's been pumped out of the ground and putting it on tankers. Yeah, we should have taken Carg Island. We should have taken the islands in the Strait of Hormuz and left all the other stuff alone. All that matters is the Strait of Hormuz.
You take that away, they have no leverage.
Make it our Gibraltar. Make it our toll booth.
Do you think we will take Carg Island and end this thing? Yes or no, Neil McCabe?
No, we will not.
Why?
Just because we just don't have it in us anymore.
Wow.
I think the political people in the White House don't want this war, and they don't care. They're just afraid of the midterms. So that's it.
Quite an indictment, Neil. Quite an indictment.
Prove me wrong, you know.
I'm not going to prove you wrong. I have you on because you're always right. It's still wrong. That's why you're Neil McCabe.
It's a terrible situation, but that's how Republicans play it. And the United States has had military success in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And each time we failed to achieve our geopolitical goals. So why are we fighting these wars? It's better to not even fight them.
We should probably get you on like multiple times a week now that you've got that perch there. You got a perch.
Time for my own show, John. Let's get that done.
Okay. Call me today.
I will do that, sir.
Look, everybody knows I run the company on the public airwaves. It's like a good idea, Neil. Let's do it. Let's figure it out.
It's the only way to get a hold of you.
Yeah, just my people will call your people. No, just text me, and Friday night happy hour. Always catch me in a good mood. I'm just saying, you want to get something done, you catch me on Friday at happy hour, my favorite place. Good chance things will work out. Because then I bring Ann with me, who's going to make the decision anyway. I just make believe I make the decision, because I don't.
Thanks, I do. All right, we're done. Go
ahead. Finish your comment.
I just want to say that people should not read the wrong lesson into Platner. That this guy was coasting for a major victory against Susan Collins, which was going to be the blueprint for Democrats in 26 and 28. And he was taken down by ex-girlfriends. And so don't assume that this formula is a bad formula, because not every progressive is going to have a bad girlfriend willing to talk to the New York Times or CNN.
Or Politico.
The formula was solid. And Mondami's team is solid. They're smart. They're aggressive. They're on point. And, once I heard Mayor Mondami say that Platner should step aside, well, that was really the signal that he was pulling the plug, because it was his guys who were running the Senate campaign.
Neil, thanks for those words of wisdom. Talk later. Text me, John Fredericks Media Network. Neil, people follow you. Where do they go?
They can find me at Reporter McCabe on all the socials, John. Have a great weekend.
All right, Neil. Thank you. We'll be right back. Virginia Gang's coming back. Stay here.
I picked up the phone and I called him. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. I would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Wally Funk, an aviation pioneer who was the oldest woman to launch into space, has died. She was 87, an original astronaut in the 1960s. In 2021, she finally got to space aboard Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket. Conversations about how Caitlin Clark is treated on a basketball court can be polarizing.
Congress wants an answer by July 24th as 11 members of the House Republican Study Committee sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. It said the league and its officiating have too often failed to address, quote, unacceptable physical contact involving Clark and has not held the players accountable. It's the latest chapter in the ongoing debate about whether league officials must do more to protect Clark from unnecessarily aggressive physical contact. Jason Walker reporting.
News and analysis at townhall.com. The music world mourning the death of singer Bonnie Tyler. She was 75.
The gravelly-voiced singer from Wales was best known for her song Total Eclipse of the Heart.
There's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart.
Bonnie Tyler spoke to the AP in 2015.
I love singing it. I never get tired of singing it. And people, when that starts, you know, the intro, everybody's like, yeah, you know.
Total Eclipse of the Heart has had more than 1 billion streams. Bonnie Tyler was hospitalized in Portugal in May for emergency surgery and placed in an induced coma. Tyler earned 3 Grammy nominations and represented Britain at Eurovision in 2013. Her career took off with hits like It's a Heartache. I'm Ed Donahue.
Where will LeBron James go after leaving the Lakers? Cleveland is a leading choice, but Miami, Philly, and Golden State, they are also possibilities. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Van Hillary has fought for America before, and he's ready to do it again. As an Air Force navigator in Desert Storm, Van's mission was simple: chart the course, stay on mission. When he came home to Tennessee, he won an election nobody thought a Republican could win. Then he did it again and again. For almost a decade, America First conservative Van Hillary has fought the radical left, stood with President Trump, and never folded, securing our border, cutting taxes, and bringing jobs to Tennessee.
Radical Democrats are trying to hijack our country. President Trump needs a conservative fighter who knows how to win. I'll keep fighting to help President Trump finish what he started, keeping our border secure, growing our economy, and destroying the woke agenda. I'm Van Hillary, and I approve this message because I'm standing with President Trump to get America back on mission.
America First conservative Van Hillary. He's never folded, and he never will. Paid for by Van for Tennessee.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, And you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the wellness company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who trucks the truth from coast to coast, John Fredericks.
Well, it's great talking on the John Fredericks Media Network and all the John Fredericks radio apps. This is going to be great. We got Tim Anderson coming up. We got some breaking news. I haven't even told Tim what it is. So it's going to be fun to get his reaction from it. Tim Anderson, former House of Delegates member in Virginia, now an internet sensation, right? He's all over the social medias, doing his super jobs. How I came up with things. I don't even have to follow the news of Virginia. I just go to Tim Anderson's X feed, and it's all right there. He's also one of the best lawyers in Virginia. He's our lawyer, and so thank you for doing that. We always call Tim, and when we don't call him, it means, well, we don't have a problem. Call him when we do, but he always returns my call, always within like 15 minutes, even if he has to step out of a courtroom. So appreciate that, Tim. Appreciate having you with us here in the John Fredericks Media Network on a shortened version of the Virginia gang. I don't know where everybody else is, but we got you on. That's the main thing. We're going to have Bert on. He's got something else to do, but it's all good. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here, John. Always happy to have fun with you on this show.
So, Tim, I get a tip yesterday that Don Scott, a former felon, but, it's all forgiven. Now the Speaker of the House for Virginia, Democrat Speaker of the House, right? Don Scott, who voted for all of these gun grab bills, voted for them all, right? Push them all and take all your guns away in Virginia. Can't have this, can't have that. And then, of course, it all goes into effect July 1st. Abigail Spanberger signed them all. Take your guns away. So somebody called me yesterday and said, hey, you got to get Tim Anderson on. And I'm like, why? I haven't talked to him in a while. He said, well, because I have heard from several people that a day or so before July 1st, that Don Scott, Speaker of the House, who signed off all on these gun grabs, bought a plethora, a cornucopia of guns from Tim Anderson just before the deadline. So I said, okay, well, I'm not even going to tell Tim this. I'm just going to go with it, get him on my show and see what he has to say. So is this true?
No comment. Don, if that were true, Don would be a customer of my gun shop, and those are confidential records. So No comment. Either way, I'm not affirming or denying such allegations.
Well, you know what? I should go to the new Tim Anderson gun shop, right? And I guess I got we got, because you're in Washington D.C. where you can't. It's very strange here. Like you can, but you can't, but you can, but you can't. There is a law that is on the books that you can't have a gun here in D.C. But then that got overturned, but then it didn't. So I'm not going to comment on that either. But it is what it is. I'm certainly not going to leave my family vulnerable, as I think you know. So that is what it is. But so let's get back to the theory of the Speaker of the House voting for the gun grabs, and then allegedly from somebody, maybe not you, from somebody buying a bunch of guns before the deadline. Now, don't you think that is rather, I don't know, what's the word here? Hypocrisy, duplicitous, rules are for somebody else, not me. I'm going to sign all these, but then before the deadline, I'm going to be sure that I've got enough guns and ammo to protect myself, even though I can't let anybody else do that because I'm the Speaker. Don't you find that odd?
Well, I think what you see here is that there is bigger forces at work in Virginia that want to disarm Virginians and take away certain things. First off, if we work on science, just the math, there are probably less than 15 gun deaths in Virginia from rifles last year. And that's not suicides, but just homicide, killing somebody, criminal homicides, less than 15. But yet the entire focus has been, let's take away AR-15s. That if we take away AR-15s, that's going to solve the big problems. I'll tell you this: I am very good friends with many of the Democrats in the House and the Senate, and almost none of them really subscribe to this philosophy and this gun grabbing agenda. But it is part of how they raise money, and I would say a good handful of them truly drink the water. I think Dan Helmer really believes what he's doing, but the vast majority of them don't believe this. And so if what you're saying about Don is true, it wouldn't surprise me, because I don't think most of them feel this way. I know, Jackie Glass in Norfolk, she's a former service member. I bet you if you asked her on your show, she would honestly tell you she doesn't feel this way. I mean, there's just, most of them don't think that these laws are legitimate, but they're being pushed by people that have agendas and pay a lot of money to the Democrat Party to get them elected.
Well, Tim, what does that say about our system?
Well, it says if you want to be in office, you have to play the game, and that is truly how it is. If you don't carry the water, they will take you out, and it's a machine, and it's. That's one of the things I really didn't love about being in the House, was sometimes you were pressured to vote in ways that you really didn't want to vote, but because the people that support your caucus want that, you need them to stay on your team, and you feel those pressures. And I know that Democrats feel that. I think that Saddam Salam from Prince William County, I think he truly believes we shouldn't have guns. He's from Bangladesh. I think he truly believes that. I think Lasheris Air truly believes it. I think Dan Helmer truly believes it. But the vast majority of them, I don't. And I bet I've seen Democrats at gun ranges before. I've seen them there. And so, we all laugh about it when we're off books. Don't talk about it and stuff like that. But no, that they're carrying water for people that are helping them get elected.
Yeah, but you're talking about voting for something you don't believe in because that's how you get money. I mean, is that where we are now in Virginia?
Oh yeah, that's totally where we are. I mean, look at what they're doing with the abortion amendment, right? The abortion amendment is going to allow no restrictions on abortion. I mean, literally a third trimester abortion can happen in Virginia. If this amendment is ratified, a third trimester can happen If the mother has an emotional reason for it, not health or safety of herself or health or safety of the baby or viability of the baby, but a emotional, psychological reason to abort a third trimester baby. Nobody can think that. There's not a Democrat on the planet that truly thinks that we should do that. But they have been pushed by Planned Parenthood. They have been pushed by Emily's List. They've been pushed that we're giving you money, and if you don't vote this way, we're going to primary you and get somebody else who will carry the most extreme versions of our agenda. Yeah, it's that way, and it's unfortunate.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Is that amendment going to pass in Virginia?
I think they're all going to pass. I mean,
So 50% plus one of Virginians in November are going to show up, and they're going to read an amendment that allows abortion up to birth, up to coming out of the birth canal, because the third trimester, okay, 7th month, no, coming out of the birth canal. Now we get back to Ralph Northam, who says, yeah, well, we take the baby and put it in a blanket and make it comfortable before we terminate its life. It's basically what he said, right? That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Got it on record on one of the other radio shows, not mine, said that. So are people in Virginia really going to vote for that? Do they think that's okay?
Well, they're not going to be asked that question. Just like when we did redistricting, it was like, do you want to restore fairness to elections? And they put a bunch of Republicans on television saying, yes, I'm for restoring fairness to elections. People are going to be tricked, and they're not going to be messaged what the truth is. And the truth is this, is that when they get this constitutional amendment in, we were not going to be able to pass any laws in Virginia to restrict third trimester abortions. I mean, that's what that amendment is going to do. And the Democrats will say, oh, that's never happening. The only time that's happening is in health and safety issues. Well, fine, but why are we taking away any ability to regulate it? People are going to vote for all three because they're going to be on the Democrat little thing that's handed out at the polls. Vote yes on all the amendments, vote for Mark Warner, vote for whoever the congressperson is in the district. And Democrats are posed to have a good year this year in Virginia. And so I think fundamentally, because the Democrats are going to be supporting it, the party supporting it, they're going to have the votes. And people are just going to do what they're told at the polls.
What are you, before we get to more, we're with Tim Anderson. He's right now is our lawyer, obviously, in Virginia. So he handles our stuff there, does a super job for us. One of the best lawyers you're going to find out there. Just give him a promo, done a super job for us. And so thank you, Tim. Thank you for that. Company like ours, you got to have a lawyer that something comes up is always there to give you advice. And Tim is always there. So thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. When did you get, and Tim, former House of Delegates member, ran for a state committee man against Morton Blackwell, should have won that race, did not, got beat by a handful of votes in Chesapeake, I think. Otherwise, he would have been successful there. Tim, what inspired you to get in the gun business, the gun retail business?
Well, my whole law practice has always been centered around restoring rights, especially Second Amendment rights. And I'm in a little shopping center out here in Virginia Beach, and a gym went out of business, and so I bought it. And then it turned into a gun shop. I mean, I don't even really have a real whole explanation of how all this happened, but now I sell guns and practice law. And that's kind of a cool gig because I can solve problems either way. If I can't fix it legally, go see the gun shop, and you can solve your problems over there. So it's a nice complement to my law practice, which is very, very entrenched around the Second Amendment. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting place, and you see some characters coming in and out of there for sure.
How much time do you spend there?
None. I have a great team that runs it. I don't have time to be over there. My law practice is so busy, but I oversee it, and I see approve the purchases and stuff. Now, what I do through the gun shop is I teach these Virginia and Utah concealed carry classes, and I'm all over the state doing that. Getting ready to leave today to go to Grottoes, Virginia. But I've seen 15,000 people this year across the state teaching these concealed carry permits, and so that's a component of the gun shop that is really taking a lot of my time.
I tell you what, that's a true entrepreneur, seeing something, buying it, and then saying, "Well, I think I'll just start a gun shop." And I mean, I'm sure that's got to get licenses and go through all the paperwork. What is? Let's see. Is Joe on now? Is he on the phone, or where is he, Dan?
I'm on the.
He's on the phone. Yeah.
John, I'm on the phone.
All right.
How are you?
Good. Joe, are you on the way in the studio?
I'm on the way to the studio, but I've been listening to the commentary. I got a couple of points.
Go ahead.
First of all, Tim, good to hear your voice. Good to see my former colleague in the Virginia General Assembly. Couple things that Tim said. Number one, he is spot on when he says if the Democrats don't get in line, the pro-abortion people, the Emily's list of people will say to you, we're going to primary you. Therefore, they get them to endorse amendments that allow abortion up until the day of delivery, which is absolutely the most shocking thing I can imagine. Okay, they get them to do that, and they hold their nose, and then they pull, and they vote in accordance with Emily's list because they'd rather be a legislator than do the right thing. And before I leave that topic, let's not forget, Tim, the Republicans do the same thing on the other side on some of those far-right issues. Don't argue with me about it. It's a fact. That's why you need districts. The more bubble districts that we get, the better legislation we're going to get. That's the first point. The second point is, Tim, John asked you a question. Is it hypocritical for Don Scott, the Speaker of the House, to lead the charge against these assault rifles and then go in and buy a batch of them? That was your question, right, John?
Yes.
Darn right it's hypocritical. And don't shy away from it. It's like the individual who votes and stands up on the General Assembly floor and says, we got to get rid of these gas guzzlers. We got to get rid of these tanks of cars that are polluting the environment, environmental disasters. And then you have people like Louise Lucas driving around in a Hummer that gets about 2.5 miles to the gallon. Yeah, they're hypocrites. I said it, and that's why, John, you've had me on your show for so many years because I call it exactly the way it is.
That's also why you got beat in the Democratic primary for state Senate.
Yes.
That's why
no question.
You're not going to the General Assembly. You're running for council in St. Petersburg. By the way, St. Petersburg. I love Petersburg. How's that race going?
It's going fine. But let me say this: when I take all my children to St. Patrick's Church on Sunday, and we pray for everybody, and when we go to church, you know what? I don't have a single regret that I voted against those abortion bills that were disasters that essentially called for infanticide. No, John, I don't have any regrets at all. With regard to the Petersburg race, very confident about it, working hard, and I'll just say this: God's got a plan, and what will happen will happen.
Well, I can guarantee you this: if you live in Petersburg and you're in Joe's ward district, you're running in a ward, right? Not at large, right?
Yeah, running in Ward 5, running on a campaign. My background is chemistry, economics, business. Run the city, run the municipality like a business. Okay? Don't waste money. Spend taxpayers' money like it's your own money. And that's why, John, when I come into the studio, I'm about to come in, I walk around our property, I pick up the litter. I want people to see me that I'm doing it. Let's show people that you can get down and get dirty.
I'm jumping in on this too. JF. I also do the same thing. I promise. Joe and I both have a zero tolerance policy for litter around our station.
Yeah, pick up that litter. No, I like you guys. I mean, you keep my studio, you keep my studio there. You
Fix
keep
those potholes.
Keep our
Fix
building
those potholes.
Well, I'll guarantee you this: if you live in Petersburg and you live in Ward District 5, as one thing I can guarantee you, if Joe wins, you will never see a pothole in that district for the rest of your life. They will disappear overnight, and you'll never see another pothole. And your garbage will get picked up, and there'll be no trash on the street. So those three things I can guarantee.
We don't have sewer lines and water lines burst. The municipality will take care of the infrastructure first. It'll take care of public safety. We're not going to have 5 people shot in the middle of downtown Petersburg, and you're going to be able to drive on your roads, drink clean water, and drive through a clean city, because that's job one of a municipality.
I got to bring in a water.
And of course,
I got to bring up here. Our city's getting fixed by Trump. Joe, we're going to let you go so you can come in the studio and get back to Tim.
Okay, man.
So Tim, Joe got beat, and you also didn't win your race. Much to my chagrin, we backed you on that Senate race. So what's the political future here for Tim Anderson?
Well, Virginia has a curse. And the curse is that whatever party controls the White House, the other party controls the State House. And so, fundamentally what happens in 28 presidentially is going to determine if I decide to run in 29. I am not going to waste my one shot to run statewide if a Republican becomes president. Now, I certainly hope we do have a Republican president in 28, but if we don't, then I will probably run for Attorney General in 29. But if we do have a Republican president, I'm just going to keep doing my thing until we get to a position of a Democrat being in the White House.
Well, that was going to be 28. That's going to be 32, 28 to 32, and then 32 to 36. That would be 2037 on my clock. 2037 is the first chance you're going to be able to do that. That's 10 years. I'm going to be 78. I'm going to be out of this business when I'm 78, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up at 3:45 a.m. at 78. But you're younger than me, so you got a lot of patience. Plus, you got a gun store going on. So
I have a busy law practice, and so I'll definitely keep myself busy. But yeah, I do have an eye on running statewide, and I would love to challenge Jay Jones. He needs to go. But if we have a Republican president, there's just no way to do it in Virginia. Nobody ever has been able to overcome the curse, and we're not gonna. I'm not.
Except McAuliffe.
But that's right. But that was an unfortunate situation where Cuccinelli kind of helped with that, and that's yeah. But nonetheless, we should talk about marijuana. Because the Democrats have really crapped the bed right now on marijuana in Virginia, and people should really hear about that. Is that good with you?
Yeah, go.
All right. So first off, the Democrats passed a retail marijuana bill in the General Assembly, and Governor Spanberger vetoed it. And so in a desperate attempt to resurrect the dead, they shoved the exact same language into the budget. And have now basically set up an entire administrative agency, a marijuana marketplace agency, through a budget. That's never been done in the history of Virginia. And it's probably not legal. Nobody's ever done this. Budget's supposed to be for spending money, and they didn't do it. So in the language, though, they did two things. One, they created a bunch of laws that deal with how you can sell marijuana and what the penalties would be if you don't do it the way they say. And then they repealed all of our current laws dealing with marijuana. Well, they made a mistake, and the mistake is this. They repealed the laws effective July 1, 2026, so they're all gone in Virginia. The new laws don't kick in until July 1 of 2027. So right now we're in this window where there's no marijuana laws in Virginia. You can sell marijuana to kids. You can distribute marijuana.
Wait a minute. Hold that thought. I got to go to a break. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've really messed up.
This is beyond messed up. This is some really sick stuff. These people are incompetent beyond the pale. these Democrats in Virginia. Hold that thought. Stay a couple minutes. I know you're busy, but we're giving you a national platform to explain this.
All right.
Get back. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, trucking the truth across America. Tim Anderson, explosive news. Well, he's not confirming or denying Don Scott's gun grab. Not the gun grab you think. And also, marijuana. Well, you can sell them now to kids coming out of, I don't know, middle school. Unbelievable. We'll be right back.
Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
To take advantage of the second annual mega sale, go to mypillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with taking 2 statins a day. High cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
He's the voice of Virginia.
No, you can't. You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
And the commander of common sense.
Fire at will, Commander.
Now back to the John Fredericks Show.
You got him back. Virginia gang got Tim Anderson. He's with us, former House of Delegates member, former candidate for state Senate in Virginia. Also ran for Virginia National Committee man and got beat by a couple of votes there. And he's with us, lawyer, my lawyer right now, gun store, does that. So he's got all kinds of things going on. We've got John McGuire has joined us by phone. John, we'll get to you in a minute. We think we got Joe in studio. Tim, finish his story. This is incredible to me. So, and we can get McGuire involved in this, although he's on to talk about something else. So, John McGuire, Congressman, 5th District, weigh in at any time. So, Tim, what you're saying is right now, there are no marijuana laws in Virginia at all. There's nothing. You can sell them to a middle schooler in the 7th grade coming out of the middle school. There's no laws. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And I've published this as recently as yesterday on my X page, and you can see it for yourself. So if you look at the way that they did the budget and you apply the rules of statutory construction in Virginia, there's a section where they say all marijuana laws are repealed. And it's just that. Now, because there's nothing that follows it, like this is delayed until July 1st of 2027, that it becomes effective the day the budget becomes effective, which is July 1, 2026. So the repeal goes into effect on July 1st of 2026. A little bit further down in the budget, it talks about the 5th reenactment of the budget, which is all the new marijuana laws. Those are all effective on July 1st of 2027. So essentially what the Democrats forgot to do is they forgot to add a sentence to the repealing clause that says these laws are repealed, but this repeal is delayed until July 1 of 2027. So yeah, we have no laws. Now, what they've done, and this is insane that they did this, they went to the Code Commission and said, hey, fix this for us. We screwed up. Now, of course, La Cherise Aird and Salam have all been saying we're lying, but now they've gone to the Code Commission and they fixed it, and the Code Commission fixed it. They just changed it and said, no, they meant to make these delayed enactments until next year. But the Code Commission can't do that. They're allowed to fix a typographical error. They can't add an entire delayed enactment. So as a criminal defense lawyer, which is what I do, anybody who's charged with a marijuana crime in Virginia is going to get dismissed because they screwed up. And they can fix it, but they have to come back and fix it. They can't fix it through the Code Commission.
John, he's right.
Got to weigh in on this, Morris. Joe.
They're guilt proof. Tim could, at his gun shop, sell a pound of weed. There's no prohibition. There's no valid law prohibiting him from doing it. And the point is this. The Democrats, and I sat on that side of the chamber, with all those minds and bodies, introduced legislation that eviscerated marijuana laws for a 12-month period. For the last 10 days, you can sell any amount of marijuana you want and not be able to be prosecuted. Now, Tim said, well, look what the Democrats did. They realized what a mistake they made, so they ran to the Code Commission and said, fix this. The Code Commission can't legislate in Virginia. That's up to two bodies, the House of Delegates and the General and the Senate, and it's got to be signed into law by the governor. So if somebody were to be charged right now with selling weed and get convicted or get charged, they go to Tim and he says, there's no law prohibiting that. And the prosecutor comes out and says, but look what the Code Commission did. And Tim says they had no authority to do that. That law, judge, is null and void. What a fiasco. What a circus. And they just need to look, the Democrats need to look in the mirror and say, we're a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, especially La Cherise Aird, who I know you have a lot of love for, Joe. She's out there even further saying that anybody talking this way, the Virginia Association of Commonwealth Attorneys, anybody, that they're spreading misinformation.
The last time I checked, La Cherise Aird has never made her way into a courtroom in her life. The chair of the House Courts of Justice Committee, what's her name? Charnel Herring, the chair. I don't think has ever done a jury in her life. She may have tried one or two traffic offenses in her illustrious criminal career, but these are the people that are leading the charge. Give me a break.
Yeah, more experience than Jay Jones.
Good thing I moved out of there and came to Washington, D.C., the cleanest, safest, most beautiful city in America. You guys are so screwed there. Oh, my God. Every time I get you on, I just laugh. Thank God. I don't know how you guys are ever going to fix this mess. let's bring in Congressman John McGuire. So, Congressman, I know you're out there. We're going to talk about your bill in a minute and get your panel involved. But, Congressman, have you heard this? I mean, right in the district that you represent, somebody could be selling marijuana to school kids in high school.
Yeah, I tell you what.
And they can't do anything about it.
Well, my friend Tim Anderson, he's really good at what he does. He's very articulate on this issue. It's just everything they do is nonsensical. You know, we've got to win the midterms for the federal level. That's what we're focused on right now. But they've given us so much ammunition for next year for the Senate, the state Senate, and the House. But what's going on in Richmond right now is a foreshadowing of what they would do at the national level if they get power again. So we need all hands on deck. We got a primary. The last day to vote for me is August 4th, and then we've got to fight like hell and make sure we give President Trump another majority in the House and the Senate.
I mean, John, you're in the House and the Senate. Right now, as Tim and Joe said, there is no law on the books in the Commonwealth of Virginia that has to do with marijuana. So you could basically sell, I don't know, pounds of it. Just open up a street stand or sell out of your car.
Oh, yeah, everything they do. I mean, we could go on for months about all the stupid stuff they're doing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's nonsensical. And at some point, I hope Virginia will wake up and do the right thing and vote these communists out.
John, tell us about.
Here's what you got to. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to finally realize that no, you can't, through the back door, get the Code Commission to legislate. They're going to have to call a special session. Governor's going to have to call a special session, bring everybody back at a cost of tens of thousands of dollars, and fix this faux pas, which is their own fault. That's the only way you fix it, because in short order, every general district court judge and circuit court judge is going to say, I'm sorry. There is no law on the books prohibiting the sale of marijuana, irrespective of what the Code Commission did.
You can't make this stuff up. John, I'm going to have the panel weigh in on this. You just introduced a bill. Many of us were not happy. As you know, I did a big column on it, on the fact that the Supreme Court 5-4, Amy Coney Barrett and Roberts voted with the liberals to uphold birthright citizenship, regardless of if you're flying in from the CCP is flying you in from China to have a baby and then fly you back. So when you're 18, you can vote in an American election. Like no country can operate this way. But anyway, it is what it is. That's 2 weeks old. But you've introduced a bill in the House to legislate that, which is what Roberts said. Roberts said he left it that opening and said, this really is a legislative issue, not a Supreme Court ruling issue. And now you've got a bill. Explain what that is, John, and how it works.
Yeah, well, as a Navy SEAL veteran, my number one goal is to keep America safe. And we are in big trouble. Thank God we got President Trump in the White House. But as soon as I saw that ridiculous decision, my team and I went to work with the Institute for Legislative Analysis and everyone else. We did a deep, deep dive on the entire history of our country and immigration law. And basically this bill will close loopholes and stop birth tourism in America. When will the Democrats stop putting our enemies first and start fighting for the American people? You know, right now there's 1.5 million, we think, communist Chinese with dual citizenship. And because of stupid Democrat laws, they could fly here, same-day register, vote, turn America communist, and fly back to China. How stupid is that? And right now in the Mexican border, you've probably seen they got signs up saying for $4,000, we'll get you across the border into an American hospital, have your baby, a golden ticket at the taxpayer's expense for the rest of their life. I mean, no country would do that. It's stupid. And so if you read the press release, or I could go line by line for all the different loopholes we've closed, but basically it ends birth tourism and clarifies birthright citizenship.
Right. So you're not ending birthright citizenship. You're consistent with what the Supreme Court said, but your bill is also consistent with what Chief Justice Roberts said, which is if you're going to make restrictions, it's got to be legislatively, not judicially. Tim, you want to weigh in on John's bill?
I think what's even more absurd about the Supreme Court's decision is this. What if you have two German parents visiting the U.S. and the mother is 7 months pregnant. She goes into premature labor in the U.S. and has her baby in the U.S. That baby is a U.S. citizen, even over the objection of the parent. And that is an absurd concept to think that that these German parents with this German baby that have a premature delivery in the United States, that we're going to stamp citizenship on that baby over the objection of the parents, and they can't do anything about that. That's crazy town. And so I did see yesterday that the Department of Justice is going to ask the Supreme Court to rehear its decision and maybe give them the opportunity to fix what this disaster that they've created. Because simply being in the country illegally or even legally doesn't necessarily mean that that baby should be a U.S. citizen. That's a crazy concept that the Supreme Court just opened the floodgates on.
Joe?
Did you say John or Joe?
Joe.
Yeah, I agree.
Morrissey.
Yeah. The position that, or the scenario that Tim just suggested could easily happen. And the Constitution gives that baby U.S. citizenship. Now, the fact of the matter, that person, the baby, would have dual Germany, U.S. citizenship. But the point of the matter is that Tim made is, even if they objected, the baby still has the imprimatur of a U.S. citizenship. And I don't think that was why that amendment was passed. It was passed at the time that we held slavery, and there was a question due to the Dred Scott decision as to whether or not African Americans were citizens, and we introduced that amendment for that person, for that singular purpose, not to allow immigrants to come into this country illegally and bear children and then have that child conferred with U.S. citizenship.
McGuire.
No, and guys, slaves were born in the United States. They had no country to go back to, and they had actually fought and died. They had skin in the game. These people come over who have no skin in the game, and they have access to all of our taxpayer institutions and everything else. So, yeah, this clarifies, and it codifies a President Trump executive order that even Kavanaugh said was accurate.
How do you fast track this through the House? Because we can't get anything done. So what's your pathway, John?
This is my pathway. I did it in the General Assembly. When I was in the House of Delegates, I had a bill that everybody said I couldn't pass. And I said, well, I'm going to get 100 co-patrons. And they laughed at me. And I said, what's so funny about that? And they said, well, in 400 years, no one's had 100 co-patrons. It took me 4 weeks. I got people in the elevator, the parking lot, stayed at night till 10:30. I got 140 co-patrons, and we passed the bill. So I'm printing 435 palm cards. I'm going to put one in everybody's hand. And I think that it's treason if you don't vote for this bill.
How do you get it through the committee? What committee is it?
Well, I'm not sure on that yet. We just dropped the bill yesterday. I think it's Judiciary. I'm pretty sure it's Judiciary, but I'll get back to you on that.
You got to get through committee. You got to get a fast track. Have you talked to Scalise about it?
Yeah, I've sent him messages. We've gone back and forth with everybody. So no answers yet. It's brand new. We just dropped it.
Listen, I mean, I'm happy you dropped it. I wanted to get to the floor. I wanted to get to committee. I want people to vote on it, and I want the Democrats to vote no, because this is not what you've done. This is not rejecting the Supreme Court order of birthright citizenship. It's rejecting tourism birth for the purposes of exploiting the American taxpayer and taking advantage of a gracious system and giving people the right, basically, to vote in elections at the direction of a foreign adversary. I mean, that's what is going to happen, John.
Yeah, you could be on a ship, pull into U.S. waters, have a baby, and the enemy has babies that have citizenship in your country. It's the stupidest thing. I mean, there's so many loopholes. This closes all those loopholes. It ends birth tourism. It's in line with what Kavanaugh said, and it codifies President Trump's executive order. Like Tim Anderson said, it's crazy town. No other country would do this. And the purpose of that amendment was for slaves, not for our enemies.
It's unbelievable. And, of course, Tim, all the Democrats will vote no on it, right? because they want as many people here that they can get in, because they need to change the voting base in order to win, Tim.
Well,
the midterms are going to be common sense versus crazy. Open borders, like Tim was talking about the marijuana snafus. It's always America last with the Democrats. Common sense versus crazy, and this is another example.
Go ahead, Tim.
But folks, wait a second. Let's be clear. This Supreme Court decision came down with a 6-3 with a 6-3 conservative majority.
5-4. Well, yeah,
5-4.
6-6. Because look, I did a column on this show the other day. I called it the Roberts Coney Barrett access. They vote together 90% of the time. Either way, two people are now controlling every SCOTUS judicial decision. If they vote with the conservatives, it's 6-3. If they vote with the liberals win 5-4. They never vote against each other. So they vote as a team. So two people control every single SCOTUS decision, Roberts and Coney Barrett, because they vote as
so here's my take. Bad facts make bad law. And the case that the Supreme Court took up was not asking the question about birth tourism. It was answering the question of, if you're born, what does the Constitution say when you're born in the United States? Are you a citizen by birth? And so I think the Supreme Court could get to a different conclusion if it had different facts. But ultimately, the problem that we've gotten into in this country is much bigger than this. We've gotten into a position where we are governed by executive fiat. The president comes in and he makes a bunch of executive orders, and now all of a sudden the border is closed. When Joe Biden said we couldn't close the border, the executive has way too much power, and then we rely on the courts to also make law. And ultimately, it's just an objective failure of the legislative branch. They just can't get anything done. No offense to John McGuire is great, but the legislative branch just needs to pass some laws, and they just can't seem to do it. And that's where the real failure of all of this comes from. But this Supreme Court case is just bad facts. And I think if we could get a question up, should a busload of Chinese women who are being bussed in for birth tourism, should that be legal in the United States? I think they would come up with a different answer.
So you're saying that the case that was presented to the Supreme Court was too broad? It was too much of a broad brush, so they interpreted the Constitution rather than narrow it down to the birth tourism issue, which I don't think anybody, you can't even give an argument for that. Now, the Democrats will come up with some argument why that's the right thing to do, because they need those voters. They need the CCP voters. They're going to vote for them, right? Hey, guys, I got to get to something else. And then in the last 2 minutes we have, this blew my mind. Benny Thompson, congressman, Democrat, Mississippi Delta, illegal gerrymandered racial district, shouldn't be there. Tate Reeves, governor, should have gotten rid of it in 26, says he'll get rid of it in 28. Tells his constituents, this is in the Delta of Mississippi, the poorest congressional district in America. My son, Jack, Joe knows him well, taught there in high school 5 years. Kids have no money. They have nothing. It's in the Delta. Tells his constituents not to participate in Trump accounts, not to take the free $1,000 when you're a baby born between January 25 and end of December 27. Don't take the $1,000 because he doesn't want to help Trump. The hell's that? What? Are you kidding us? $1,000 they're giving each child in the poorest community in the country, and your congressman is saying, don't take advantage of it? What the hell is this guy thinking? John McGuire, Tim, somebody jump in. It's outrageous.
It's just the common Trump derangement syndrome. President Trump could literally say, I have the cure for cancer, and Democrats would object to it. It's just this hatred. And you know, if President Trump would maybe find an ounce of humility on this and not call it a Trump account, it would have probably been more popular. But if it has Trump, there's an immediate visceral reaction from the left to reject it, even if it's something good like this. And it's terrible because this Trump account, I just put $5,000 each in it for my boys, it's going to turn into a $250,000, by the time that they're at retirement age. It's insane not to do it.
Insane. And you're getting free money in a poor district. This is a free $1,000 to become part of the American dream. You know why Thompson doesn't want him to do it? Yes, some of it is Trump derangement syndrome, but McGuire, you know the real reason? They want their kids dependent and poor on the government. Dependent on the government for food stamps, healthcare, you name it. They don't want them to be entrepreneurs. They don't want to be successful, because if they're not dependent, they don't vote for the Democrats.
John,
That's why he rejected it.
John, I also think that Tim again is right. The Democrats don't want Trump to get a victory, irrespective of how much that victory is warranted. These Trump accounts, if it had been some other name that did not have the Trump moniker on it, it would have sailed through, or at least or if a Democrat had introduced it, it sails through. And that's sad. It reminds me of what my mother used to say, Joey, don't cut your nose off to spite your face.
Thank you. John McGuire, I mean, what's the deal with this guy Thompson? Why would he screw his own children out of a $3,000?
Trump derangement syndrome is real. It's actually going to start being published in the newest psychology books coming out in America. Trump derangement syndrome is real, but President Trump is amazing. He's playing 3D chess. He's trying to make America great again for all Americans. But listen, I know you got to go. Please remind everyone to vote in the Virginia primaries by August 4th, and let's save America.
Vote for John McGuire in that primary. Got to vote. Got to vote. Got to put ballots in boxes. That's what this whole thing's about. Ballots in boxes. Oh, and by the way, maps. Need better maps. Tim Anderson, want to thank you for being with us. If you want to know what's going on in Virginia, just go to your X account and follow Tim Anderson. He's got every 5-minute updates on the news. Best social media account out there. Joe Morrissey is my man. Vote for him. Petersburg, District 5, new potholes. Pothole Joe, baby. Let's go. And, of course, John McGuire, vote for him, too. 5th District Congressman, Republican. Got to win that primary and go on the victory in the fall. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. You've had the Virginia Gang on. Got a new set here in Virginia Gang. I like it. Very spicy today. Very spicy. Tim, we're going to have to suck you in to make you a regular. That's it. Michael Patrick Leahy next. It's Friday. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Godzilla wins 9 to 11. Don't miss that. Occult